Chapter 1350. 15 minutes was neither long nor short. Soon, the time limit given by Lin Rei was up. At the same time, Lu Ding, who had left, appeared in front of Lin Rei. At this moment, Lu Ding was not alone. There were 20 young talents following behind him. Their cultivation levels were not bad and they were the best among the younger generation. Senior, I am back. These are the disciples of Huanghui City who went to the secluded valley this time. Lu Ding came before Lin Rei and introduced them to him. As for the people who were introduced to Lu Ding, they looked at Lin Li, who was about the same age as Rain and the others. They felt an inexplicable sense of dissatisfaction. After all, as the elites of the younger generation, how could they tolerate the city lord being so humble? Of course, more importantly, they were jealous. After all, who would not want to be respected like Lin Rei? Cough cough, that. Lu Ding could feel the displeasure in the eyes of the people behind him. However, he could not vent his anger, especially in front of Lin Rei. He believed that as long as they saw Lin Rei's means, they would choose to submit or remain silent. Senior, we are now, understood. Lin Rei interrupted. Then, he lifted his head and looked at the young talents who were feeling good about themselves. He said indifferently, in a while, I will send you to a place. Remember, be obedient there. Otherwise, suddenly, a murderous aura burst out from his body and shrouded the crowd. Suddenly, their bodies sank and trembled. They looked at Lin Rei with fear. In that instant, they seemed to have seen a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. They also seemed to have seen an executioner holding a knife to their throats. The cold aura from the knife was unforgettable. As for Lin Rei's unfinished words, the crowd understood and did not question him. Just the horrifying murderous aura was enough to let them know that they were not a match for the person in front of them. Everyone was silent. Lin Rei nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, this is good. As he spoke, he waved his hand. Then, his divine consciousness shrouded the crowd and kept them in the system. This, senior, they, Lu Ding, who had been observing them, panicked when he saw them disappear into thin air. Wang Yu and Hope looked at Lin Rei in confusion. Everything had happened so suddenly that they didn't even have time to react. Don't worry, they are in a safe place. When we arrive, I will release them. He took a step forward and with a wave of his hand, a crack appeared in the air. Holy spiritual chi rushed out and enveloped Lu Ding and the young man. He then said, let's go, we don't have much time. After speaking, he took a step forward and entered the spatial crack. Just like that, Lin Rei and the others disappeared from Huanghui City. The moment Lin Rei left, the original spatial crack instantly disappeared, returning to its original state as if it had never appeared. As for Lin Rei, he did not hide it from the passers-by. Therefore, the moment Lin Rei disappeared, the news spread like a gust of wind in the entire Huanghui City. In fact, the trend did not decrease at all and it seemed to be spreading to other cities. In a mountain range a million miles away from Huanghui City, a young man with a pale face and covered in blood was fighting with a hell tiger. He looked very miserable. There was nothing bad on his body. His clothes, they were even more unsightly. Other than some important parts that could be covered, the rest of his body was nowhere to be seen. To put it nicely, he was desolate. To put it bluntly, he was worse than a beggar. Awoo. Human, you have completely angered me. The hell tiger spoke in human language. His eyes were bloodshot. He raised his front paw and slapped the young man. Huff, huff. The young man panted heavily and squatted on the ground. His face was as pale as paper. He looked very miserable and exhausted. I say, master, can you do it? In the distance, a middle-aged man was watching the battle between the young man and the hell tiger closely on a tree that required 8 people to wrap their arms around. Hearing the young man's words, the middle-aged man opened his mouth and said with a smile, Little Yi, this is only a demonic beast of the lowest level. If you can't even deal with something like this, how can you cultivate the way of the sword? You have also experienced Lin Rei's way of the sword. Don't think that it is easy to cultivate to that level. At that level, you will need at least 10,000 years to catch up. At this moment, if Ruo Lin and Lin Rei were to see the two of them, they would definitely be so angry that they would give them 2 kicks. The two of them were none other than Zhu and Yi Xiang, whom Lin Rei could not detect. Previously, when Lin Rei was probing, he had sensed it. However, with his cultivation, if he wanted to isolate Lin Rei's divine sense, it would be very easy. It was very easy. It was very simple. Master, you shouldn't have found me such a ferocious one right from the start. Yi Xiang cried. Before they came, Zhu had repeatedly said that she would find a very cute and weak one to test his strength. At that time, Yi Xiang was especially glad that he had such a master. However, when he saw that the cute and weak one that Zhu spoke of was actually the Hell Tiger, Yi Xiang was dumbfounded. When he wanted to regret it, he discovered that it was already too late. The Hell Tiger had already locked onto him. He wanted to escape. However, just as he was frantically running away, an invisible barrier suddenly separated him. There was nothing he could do. As the saying goes, there was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. At this moment, he was in a dilemma and could only fight. He had fought for an entire day and night. Up until now, he had not cultivated at all. If not for the fact that Yi Xiang had been using spiritual medicines to cleanse his body, he would have already become the Hell Tiger's meal. When he thought of his master, he wished that he could go berserk. However, unfortunately, he was no match for the Hell Tiger. Thus, this thought of his could only become a delusion in his dreams. Slash. The Hell Tiger's claw slammed down. Yi Xiang was sent tumbling. Finally, at the last moment, he was able to escape from danger. Unfortunately, although his life was no longer in danger, his body was still left with an indelible injury. Bloody scars appeared on his back. His flesh was badly mutilated. His essence, energy, and spirit had once again fallen to the extreme. Pooh! A mouthful of old blood spurted out. Enduring the pain from his back, he glared fiercely in the direction of Zhu. Gnashing his teeth, he did not call for help. Old man, just you wait. Wait until this daddy's cultivation surpasses yours. At that time, if I don't light you up and beat you up, this daddy will change my surname to yours. As he thought, his gaze landed on the Hell Tiger again. Worry flashed through his eyes. There was not much nether chi left in his body. If he wanted to win, it would not be easy. Now, I can only use my wits. There was no other way. He did not have enough nether chi. It was already impossible for him to continue fighting head-on like before. As he thought, his gaze locked onto the Hell Tiger. He crawled up with difficulty and brandished the sword in his hand. The scene of Lin Rei using the 10,000 sword art inexplicably appeared in his mind. Only sword cultivators needed to press forward without fear of death. This was the way of the sword. Let's hope this move works. Helplessness appeared on his face. Now that he had used all his trump cards, this was the only move that he was unsure of. As the saying goes, succeed or die trying. Right now, there was no other way. Looking at the Hell Tiger baring his fangs and rushing over, Yi Xiang raised his sword and held it before his chest. His gaze was fixed on the Hell Tiger. His originally turbid eyes turned cold and sharp at this moment. This 10,000 sword art? In the distance, Zhu, who was constantly paying attention to Yi Xiang, sensed Yi Xiang's strange behavior and his current actions. He inexplicably thought of the 10,000 sword art that Lin Rei had passed on to him. SSS, this shouldn't be. The 10,000 sword art hasn't been passed on to him yet. Zhu shook his head in confusion. He stared at Yi Xiang. This was a test for him. He wanted to experience the feeling of being on the verge of death. This would be beneficial to his cultivation. Of course, Zhu would not leave him alone. It was not easy to get a disciple. He would not be so careless. Die, human. The Hell Tiger was very close to Yi Xiang. Seeing the stunned Yi Xiang, the Hell Tiger's interest was greatly increased. He wanted to open his bloody mouth and bite Yi Xiang's head. Looking at Yi Xiang, he saw that Yi Xiang was still indifferent. His sword was held before his chest and he did not move at all. However, in Zhu's eyes, all of this was different. Heh, this brat. I never expected that he would be able to use the sword moves of the 10,000 sword art without learning it. Not bad. At this moment, Zhu was certain that what Yi Xiang was going to use next was the 10,000 sword art. However, Yi Xiang did not disappoint Zhu. Ha! With a loud shout, he brandished his sword. Suddenly, an undetectable sword aura appeared. Although it was similar to the 10,000 sword art, it was not as powerful as the actual 10,000 sword art. At the very least, its moves were several levels inferior. Brandishing his sword, Yi Xiang looked at the Hell Tiger that was very close to him. His gaze was fixed on the Scarlet Flame Tiger's throat. At this moment, there were no other random thoughts in Yi Xiang's mind. At this moment, the only thought in his mind was to kill the Hell Tiger. Only by doing so would he have the hope to continue living. Only by doing so would he be able to become the person he wanted to be. Go. Yi Xiang brandished his sword. With a speed as fast as lightning, a sword ray instantly flashed past the Hell Tiger's throat. Puff! A loud explosion sounded. The Hell Tiger that originally had a fiendish appearance and looked as if he wanted to eat Yi Xiang had a lifeless expression. His body uncontrollably streaked past Yi Xiang and landed not far away. How is this possible? Feeling the pain from his throat, how could the Hell Tiger not understand what had happened to his body? After Yi Xiang succeeded in his attack, he did not stop. He knew that if he were to stop now, there would only be one ending left for him, death. Without even thinking about it, it was basically a conditioned reflex. The instant the Hell Tiger landed on the ground, Yi Xiang turned around. With a leap, he directly jumped onto the Hell Tiger's body. He raised the sword in his hand high up. His gaze was ice cold. A cold glint flashed through his eyes. His eyes were fixed on the Hell Tiger's head. The tip of his sword was pointed downwards. Puchi. At the instant when the sword came into contact with the Hell Tiger's head, it did not stop. On the contrary, it very cleanly and nimbly entered the Hell Tiger's head. Oh! A beastly roar came out from the Hell Tiger's mouth. His eyes were bloodshot. His eyes were filled with hatred and unwillingness. It was as if he was unwilling to accept this. He had never expected that the human he had underestimated would be killed by the other humans who were running around in circles around him. He pulled out the sword and stabbed it towards the Hell Tiger's head again. Just like that, after repeating it a few times, the Hell Tiger no longer breathed. When his body was no longer trembling, Yi Xiang's hand stopped moving. Puff! Perhaps it was because he had just survived a calamity, or perhaps it was because he had been fighting for a long time that caused his body to be exhausted. His entire body was sprawled on the Hell Tiger's corpse. The sword was not pulled out from the Hell Tiger's head. The only thing that could be seen was the sword hilt. Finally, it's finally over. A smile appeared on Yi Xiang's extremely exhausted face. President, this one day and one night of battle made Yi Xiang feel as if he had lived a lifetime. To say it bluntly, this was the most bitter battle in his life. There was no other battle. In the distance, when Zhu saw that the Hell Tiger had been killed by Yi Xiang, her body moved and disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already standing next to Yi Xiang. Zhu revealed a gratified expression as she looked at her disciple. Not bad. You were able to comprehend the 10,000 sword technique sword moves at a time like this. Even though they are only superficial moves. After saying that, she raised her hand and pointed it at Yi Xiang. A pure wave of wood attribute spiritual energy rushed out from Zhu's hand and entered Yi Xiang's body. Rest well. I will not arrange any other monstrous beast for you for the next 2 days. What? Yi Xiang, who was about to fall asleep, immediately sat up when he heard this. He stared at Zhu as if he was mistaken. What's wrong? You're not willing? Zhu smiled when she saw Yi Xiang's sudden vigor. She said, if you're not willing, I will arrange another monstrous beast for you to challenge right now. After all, your cultivation is still, what the hell? Master, can you act like a human? Yi Xiang interrupted Zhu before she could finish her sentence. I've just risked my life and killed the hell tiger with great difficulty. Right now, I'm lacking hell chi and my body's functions are declining. Besides, can't you see that I'm covered in wounds? Are you so heartless to let your disciple rest for 2 days before continuing to fight? After saying that, his eyes stared at Zhu. Yi Xiang's mocking expression was incisive and vivid. However, there were only 2 words waiting for Zhu's response. Heartless. Yi Xiang was speechless. He had nothing to say. Inexplicably, Yi Xiang felt a little regretful. What kind of master was this? She was clearly an enemy. Moreover, it was the kind of blood feud that would not rest until one of them was dead. Otherwise, she would not have acted like this. He understood that it was useless to say anything now. 2 days. A new wave of battles would come in 2 days. Plop. He lay down again, looking as if he had nothing left to live for. Don't disturb me for the next 2 days. Let me enjoy some peace and quiet. After saying that, exhaustion uncontrollably swarmed over him. His eyelids closed and he fell into a deep sleep. Heh, you brat. Zhu smiled bitterly as he looked at the sleeping Yi Xiang. Then, he picked Yi Xiang up and said, train your body well during this period of time. After some time, your master will try to undo the seal within your body. After saying that, her body disappeared. The entire mountain range returned to its previous tranquility. Chapter 1351. In the sky above the secluded valley in Lu Province, it was a sunny day. Suddenly, the nether chi raged in a space. A crack as tall as a person suddenly appeared. The moment the crack appeared, the nether chi began to rush in wildly. The moment the crack appeared, the nether chi within 100 miles was completely devoured. As such, the devouring power from the crack was endless. After the nether chi within 100 miles was completely devoured, it began to pull in the nether chi from 100 miles away. Regarding this, the secluded valley was peaceful and bustling. No one noticed the abnormality in the sky. This is the secluded valley? A hollow voice came out from the spatial crack. Then, a figure walked out from the crack. It was none other than Lin Rei. Lin Rei was followed by Lu Ding, Wang Yu, and the red flame tiger. The moment they appeared, the crack closed and disappeared. The nether chi that was pulled in by the crack seemed to have lost its target. It dissipated in the air and returned to normal. Senior, this is my secluded valley. Looking at the familiar scenery and mountains below, Wang Yu quickly nodded. He was very familiar with this place and could not be mistaken. However, he found it hard to accept. In the past, it would take him 10 to 20 days to travel from the secluded valley to Huanghui City. He did not expect to be back in the sky above the secluded valley in the blink of an eye. To him and Lu Ding, this was an unreachable place. It was too far away. Lin Li nodded, acknowledging the order. Brother Lei, the red flame tiger's voice sounded. Lin Rei turned to look at him. Seeing the strange look in the red flame tiger's eyes, Lin Rei nodded helplessly. Go. Remember, don't go overboard. After all, this is not our territory. If the energy imbalance attracts the experts of this region, there will be a lot of trouble. Seeing that Lin Rei had agreed, the red flame tiger nodded excitedly. I understand. Brother Lei, you still don't know me. I'm not the kind of person to cause trouble. Can I say yes now? The red flame tiger was speechless. Alright, hurry up and go. Remember, don't make too much noise. Lin Ray exhorted again. Don't worry, Brother Lei. After saying that, the crimson flame tiger turned around and teleported away before everyone's eyes. As he watched Lin Ray leave, Forgotten Sorrow was stunned. He subconsciously opened his mouth and said, I wonder, who is this senior? The moment he said those words, Wang Yu felt some regret. After all, the other party's cultivation, him. Looking in the direction that the scarlet flame tiger left, a faint smile appeared on Xiao Chen's face as he continued, he went to play. However, the demonic beasts in this mountain range might suffer a calamity. Once he said those words, he ignored Forgotten Sorrow and the others, who had lost control of their expressions at that moment. He took a step forward and led the two of them down. However, how could the two of them not understand Lin Ray's words? This Motherf * Kerr was obviously going to attack all the demonic beasts in the mountain range. However, he didn't say anything in the end, because this was something that he couldn't control. At this moment, he only wanted to understand why the Dragon Spring Mystery Realm had suddenly opened in advance and why the Grand Supreme had suddenly come out of seclusion. These things were weighing on his mind, and he was about to collapse. In the blink of an eye, Lin Ray and the other two arrived at a place not far from the secluded valley. Lin Ray didn't enter the secluded valley directly. After all, that would be too conspicuous. He knew that in the netherworld, those who could fly in the sky were at least star venerables. Just now, he scanned everyone in the secluded valley with his divine consciousness. Those who could reach the star venerable realm could be counted with one hand. Moreover, these people had lost both their chi and blood. It was obvious that their lifespan was coming to an end, and their death was not far away. Howl. Suddenly, a beast's roar sounded not far away when Lin Ray and the others had just stepped on the ground. Turning around, he looked at the nearby hell tiger, who was still hunting. Lin Ray's eyes were filled with disdain, and the corners of his mouth curled up. With a wave of his hand, the hell tiger flew up uncontrollably and landed in front of Lin Ray and the others. Rumble. The hell tiger landed on the ground, raising a cloud of dust. *CK. Seeing such a fierce scene, Wang Yu couldn't help but swallow their saliva. They looked shocked and couldn't calm down for a long time. Conversely, Lin Li strode over to the nether tiger and stretched out his hand to pat the nether tiger's head. He said in an extremely cold and indifferent manner, "Be obedient and be my mount during this period of time. Perhaps I'll be happy and give you a fortune." In the eyes of outsiders, Lin Ray was talking to the hell tiger. In fact, Lin Ray had communicated with the hell tiger with his divine consciousness. He even used his might to suppress and subdue the hell tiger. Howl. A tiger's roar sounded. However, times had changed. This tiger's roar was not as arrogant as before. It was full of bestiality. It lowered its head and lay in front of Lin Ray. It tried to rub its head against Lin Ray's body, as if it was trying to please Lin Ray. This scene once again shocked the worryless duo. To the two of them, this was too far in the future, but it was too awesome. In their opinion, it was not easy to subdue the hell tiger. Even if they wanted to take action, it was impossible. Even if the Grand Elder of the secluded valley came, he would return empty-handed. Good boy. Seeing that the abyssal tiger was so sensible, a smile appeared on Lin Li's face. He took a step forward and sat down on the abyssal tiger's back. Let's go. Let's enter the valley. As he spoke, he patted the abyss tiger, indicating for it to move. As for the worryless duo, they naturally bitterly followed behind Lin Li, walking on foot. Oh, right. Suddenly, Lin Ray, who was walking, thought of the 20 geniuses of Huanghui City in the system. The hell tiger stopped eating. Lin Ray communicated with the system and wrapped the 20 people with his divine consciousness. Then, he threw them out of the system space. The moment the two of them appeared, grumbling sounds rose and fell one after another, continuous and unending. What's going on? I just fell asleep. Damn it. Don't they know that they can't be disturbed when they are cultivating? Who is it? Are they trying to stir up trouble? Lu Ding and Wang Yu, who were at the side, looked at the 20 people behaving like this. Their faces turned red, and they felt extremely embarrassed. Especially in front of a powerhouse like Linley, that old face of his was practically thrown to his grandmother's house. They were so ashamed that they wanted to hide in a hole. If there was a hole in the ground, the two of them would like to crawl into it and never see anyone again. Unfortunately, it was impossible. I say, shut up. All of you are reputable in Huanghui City. Why are you cursing like a shrew? What a scandal. In the end, Lu Ding couldn't hold it in anymore and scolded the crowd. His face was dark. When Lu Ding said that, the scene suddenly quietened down. Everyone came back to their senses and turned to look at Lu Ding. All of you, just you wait. When we return to Huanghui City, I will teach you a lesson. Shame, fear, these emotions slowly emerged in the 20 people's hearts. They had heard about the methods of City Lord Lu Ding from the elders in their families. Enough. At this moment, Lin Rei's voice suddenly appeared in everyone's ears. I didn't accompany you here to listen to your chatter. When he said that, everyone was stunned. Wang Yu scratched his head awkwardly and quickly stepped forward. He stretched out his hand and made an inviting gesture. Then, he said respectfully, Senior is right. We have been rash. Senior, please forgive us. Lu Ding bowed. His expression changed drastically. Sweat couldn't stop flowing from his forehead. Humph. Sweeping his gaze across the crowd, Minghu snorted and walked towards the entrance of the secluded valley. At the same time, on the other side of the mountain range, the red flame tiger who had separated from Lin Rei searched for a long time with his divine sense. Finally, he found the king of this mountain range. When he came to the front of a cave, his original body appeared and roared at the cave, You inside, come out. 3 breaths. After 3 breaths, if the two of you still don't appear, there is only one outcome for you. Die. Inside the cave, the demonic beast White Ape's family who were sleeping soundly were startled awake by the sudden voice. As the king of this mountain range, he had his dignity. Now, the red flame tiger's actions had undoubtedly challenged his dignity. This was unforgivable. Old Bai, the one outside, at the side, a white ape transformed into a woman and looked at her husband with a worried expression. From the aura that the red flame tiger emitted, they could feel that the other party's cultivation was probably above the two of them. Roar, a weak beastly roar sounded between the two of them. The little white ape stood up with a frightened expression and instantly went into Old Bai's arms. Its head kept burrowing into Old Bai's arms. As if he could feel the fear from the child, Old Bai was even more furious. Son of AB****, it seems like I really have to take action this time. At this moment, Old Bai seemed to have lost his mind. With a shake of his body, he transformed into a middle-aged man. With a gentle expression, he placed the little white ape beside the woman and gave her a reassuring look. Then, he turned around and walked outside. Old Bai, worry. Hearing the concern from his wife, Old Bai paused for a moment and then moved again. Oh, he's out. The red flame tiger, who was waiting at the entrance of the cave, grinned when he saw the middle-aged man appear. Why is this fellow's background? When he saw the red flame tiger at the entrance of the cave, Old Bai was stunned. A strange expression appeared on his face. His entire face was filled with shock and confusion. Although there was no red flame tiger in this world, from the fluctuation of the other party's bloodline, he could feel the other party's background. What? Are you looking down on me? Old Bai's puzzled expression appeared. The red flame tiger smiled. He didn't feel ashamed at all about his background. After all, in his opinion, his background didn't represent everything. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to cultivate to such a level now. When facing the white ape, he could be confident because he was strong. You, Before Old Bai could speak, the red flame tiger interrupted him and said, I didn't come here this time because I wanted to see how strong the king of this mountain range is. Of course, more importantly, I will be staying here for a period of time. Therefore, there are some things that I need you, the king, to come here. Nanny? Old Bai was stunned. The red flame tiger's meaning was very obvious. It wanted to use him as a hired thug. What? You don't understand? No, I was just thinking, are you sick? Old Bai had some thoughts about the red flame tiger's thoughts. Sigh. The red flame tiger now realized that it was too tiring to talk to Old Bai. What kind of brain was this? How could this be a high-grade bloodline? Shaking his head, he turned into his human form and walked towards Old Bai. He raised his hand and placed it on Old Bai's shoulder. He said solemnly, during this period of time, I want you to be my follower. Of course, there's a reward. I don't know if you are willing. After saying that, the red flame tiger couldn't help but exert force on his hand. Old Bai wanted to refute the red flame tiger's request, but, when he wanted to refute, he was stopped by the movement on his shoulder. He raised his head and glared at the red flame tiger. He started to circulate his cultivation, trying to offset the pain from his shoulder. Unfortunately, as his cultivation slowly increased until it reached the peak, the pain on his shoulder was still there. Surprisingly, it was no different from before. At this moment, Old Bai finally knew why this guy dared to do this. It wasn't because he was sick. It was because he had the strength that he dared to be so presumptuous. Although he understood now, it was a pity that he was already in the hands of others. What? Do you agree? Seeing that Old Bai didn't say anything, the red flame tiger exerted force again. This time, he used 20% of his strength. This time, Old Bai couldn't help but scream. His knees bent and he knelt down. Inside the cave, the woman's face turned pale when she heard her husband's scream. She quickly comforted the child in her arms and then walked out of the eastern capital. Seeing her husband being suppressed by the scarlet flame tiger, she hurriedly stepped forward and bowed to the scarlet flame tiger. She said respectfully, Senior, if my husband has offended you in any way, Fangxin will apologize. Oh. Looking at the woman's appearance, the red flame tiger couldn't help but be shocked. I won't comment on her husband's appearance, but this woman's appearance is really beautiful. Looking at Fang Xian, the red flame tiger grinned. He removed his hand from Old Bai's shoulder and cupped his fist to return the greeting. This. Fang. Fellow Taoist, it's like this. During this period of time, I want to play here for a while, so I want your husband to accompany me and avoid unnecessary trouble. However, he looked at Old Bai and said helplessly, Your husband doesn't seem particularly willing. This, Fang Xian was stunned. She knew her husband's character very well. After being a king for so long, of course, he wouldn't want to be inferior to others. However, facing the red flame tiger's cultivation, even if he didn't want to, he had to endure it for the sake of their child. Thinking of this, she cupped her fist and said, Senior, I will agree on behalf of my husband first. Xian, you. Seeing her husband's action, Old Bai was stunned. Obviously, he didn't expect Fang Xian to make such a decision. Okay, then. Saying this, a bottle of elixirs appeared and was handed to the two. Then, the red flame tiger said, The elixirs in this bottle are good for your baby's body. Take it as the deposit for being my subordinate for this period of time. Chapter 1352. This, all right. Although he had some doubts about this thing in front of him, he did not dare to openly reject it in front of an expert. Of course, Lao Bai did not have the brains to do so. Everything was done by Fang Xian. Lao Bai was just a passerby who did not know anything. He did not speak at all and just stared with his big eyes. All right, let's go. With that, the flaming tiger turned around and walked in the direction it came from. It was not very fast because it wanted to wait for Lao Bai behind it. No, looking at the back of the flaming tiger, Lao Bai was stunned. He suddenly asked, "Big brother, where are you going?" "No, wait for me." With that, he looked at his wife, Xian, follow me later. After all, if I'm not here, it won't be good for those people to make a move. With that, Fang Xian's expression changed as if she had thought of something terrifying. She nodded, "I understand. Hurry up and follow me." "I'll follow right away." With that, Fang Xian turned around and walked into the cave. As for Lao Bai, he naturally channeled the demonic essence in his body and rushed towards the flaming tiger. On the other side, Lin Rei was led by Wang Yu and finally stepped into the mountain gate of the secluded valley. "Wow!" Lin Rei exclaimed as he looked at the scenery in front of him with a smile. He did not notice from the sky that the secluded valley's scenery was so dreamy. Instead of calling it a secluded valley, it was more accurate to call it the Valley of Dreams. There were also scenes such as the Milky Way descending from the ninth heaven. There were also scenes of thousands of flowers, little beasts running happily in the valley, and groups of beasts drinking water by the pool. What could not be seen from the outside could be seen here. The entire secluded valley was made of flowers. It was a pity to step on it and one could not bear to do so. TSK, not bad. I did not expect the secluded valley to be a paradise. Yes. The secluded valley is the result of the accumulation of my ancestors. Wang Yu was proud of this. In his opinion, there should be no other place better than here. Although the secluded valley was not famous, no one in the entire Lu province would dare to be presumptuous here, let alone take it for themselves. "Senior, let's go. The loft in the secluded valley is right in front of us." He pointed to the distance and pointed the way for Lin Rei. "Yes." Then, he returned to his senses and gestured for Ming Hu to follow him. If not for the existence of the system, the damned mission, and the fact that his family and friends were not here, he might have really planned to live in seclusion again. After all, living in seclusion in this kind of place was, unfortunately, very comfortable, and also very good for training one's state of mind. Under Forgotten Sorrow's lead, Lin Rei and the others finally arrived at the pavilion in the secluded valley that Forgotten Sorrow had mentioned. Rather than calling it a pavilion, it was more like a place where everyone lived in the secluded valley. Sect leader. At this time, a disciple who was patrolling the valley was stunned when he saw the daylily. Then, he came back to his senses and was pleasantly surprised. He quickly stepped forward and bowed. What happened? He remembered that when he left the secluded valley, there was no such position in the secluded valley. Why was it this time? Moreover, he could see exhaustion and conflict between his disciple's brows. Therefore, how could Daylily still think that nothing had happened in the secluded valley? Sect leader, this. Looking at the sect leader, the young disciple was hesitant. There was a flash of fear in his eyes. It seemed that something had frightened him. Because of this fear, he did not dare to speak. Lin Rei saw this scene completely. Looking at the conversation between the two, he was speechless. He had no choice but to release his divine sense and shroud the entire secluded valley. This is, in the secluded valley, there were 7 powerful auras. Their realms were probably weak. At the very least, they were at the level of crepe myrtle. Moreover, there were many people who were at the level of crepe myrtle. In this regard, Lin Rei understood that something must have happened in the secluded valley. Perhaps, it was very likely to lead to the extermination of the sect. Thinking of this, he fixed his eyes on the daylily. The corners of his mouth curled up and he interrupted the two of them. Daylily, there are many powerful cultivators here. Come to think of it, your secluded valley may be in imminent danger now. He looked away from the daylily and looked at the young disciple beside him. He continued, little brother, tell me, am I right? As soon as he said this, everyone's expression changed drastically. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the young disciple as if they were waiting for his answer. As a patrolling disciple, he had never been looked at like this by other cultivators. Among them, there were several cultivators who were stronger than him. Of course, more importantly, his sect leader was among them. Time passed by slowly. The young disciple kept talking among himself. Lin Ray's pumpkin was buzzing. Aya, that's enough. You talk as if I want to kill you. In the end, Lin Ray could not help but break the confrontation. Then, he looked at the daylily as if the child was unteachable and said hatefully, I say, you are also a blockhead. If you want to know the identity of the other party, just go in and find out. The daylily was speechless. Looking at Lin Ray, the daylily's eyes flashed with helplessness. Damn it, if I had your cultivation, would not have to wait here. I am not crazy, Of course, the daylily did not dare to say this out loud. Although he said, take care, in his heart, he admitted it. Well, if that's the case, then, when we go in and fight, I will ask Senior to help us. At that time, I will definitely pay you double. So far, this was the only way left. Senior, I beg you. Lu Ding also hurriedly echoed. Senior, I beg you. Lu Ding said. The 20 disciples of Huanghui City also said in unison. Looking at their expressions, Lin Ray shook his head helplessly. Really, I don't know if it is right or wrong to come here this time. As he said that, he stepped forward. Oh, right. As if he thought of something, he paused and turned to look at the daylily. He smiled and said, should I injure him or kill him? The daylily was speechless. He came back to his senses and waved his hand, saying, Senior, it's fine as long as you injure him. He did not dare to kill those people whose origins were unknown. Ruo Lin and Lei were from the Deep Valley. Perhaps he did not need to remind them that this group of people would not be able to get out of the Deep Valley. Unfortunately, Lin Ray was not. After answering, he sat on the Hell Tiger and walked into the depths of the Deep Valley, leaving the daylily and the others to eat. At the entrance of the Deep Valley, he finally arrived at the Deep Valley with White. After experiencing 81 difficulties, he finally arrived at the Deep Valley. Big brother, is this the place you said you were going to come? Looking at the Deep Valley, White was surprised. Why, have you been here before? The Flaming Tiger said disapprovingly. Chapter 1353. No, but I've heard of it. Oh. Hearing this, the Flaming Tiger was not surprised. After all, he was the king of this mountain range. If he did not even know the distribution of forces in the mountain range, then he could be laid off. However, seeing the Flaming Tiger in a daze, Senior White's mouth squirmed as if he wanted to say something. What's the matter? Yes. Senior White nodded and told him what had happened in the past 2 days. This is where the secluded valley is located. However, 2 days ago, a group of experts suddenly came. Their cultivation was very strong. That I might not be a match for them. Of course, more importantly, I heard that everyone in the secluded valley was suppressed. Moreover, there were many experts from the other side. According to the news, there were 7 of them, and they might all be cultivators of the crepe myrtle realm. It's also because of this that the demonic beasts in the entire mountain range are especially quiet during this period. Experts? Suppressed? Listening to Senior White's explanation, coupled with the fact that Daylily suddenly asked for Lin Ray's help in the Dragon Springs secret realm opening in advance, he felt that this matter was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. Thinking of this, he did not waste any more time. He released his divine sense and disappeared in a flash. Follow me quickly. I'll wait for you in the secluded valley. Hearing the Flaming Tiger's voice, Senior White laughed bitterly. He understood that they would definitely go to the secluded valley today. He had no choice but to look at his wife and son. Let's go. As long as we follow him now, we should not be in danger. Yes, I think so too. Senior White and his family made up their minds and immediately chased after the flaming tiger. In the depths of the secluded valley, Lin Ray, who was sitting on the hell tiger, followed the lock of his divine sense and soon arrived at the place where the 7 crepe myrtle realm cultivators were. At the moment, the 7 crepe myrtle cultivators were in their own rooms, practicing cultivation. As for the number 1 cultivators with decent cultivation bases, they were in their own rooms, practicing cultivation. They had no idea that Linley had arrived, nor did they have any idea that danger was approaching. Not bad, very diligent. You're at ease in someone else's territory. You've reached a new realm. As he spoke, he smiled and released his pressure. Everyone, wake up. It's raining. Let's go home and collect our clothes. Boom boom. As soon as Lin Ray finished speaking, 7 terrifying waves of chi swarmed in from all directions, crushing onto Lin Ray's body. It was as if they were going to kill Lin Ray directly. At the same time, all of the disciples who had been training, upon hearing Linley's voice, began to awaken from their training. Who is it? How dare you disturb us while we are cultivating? Resentful voices came from all directions. This person, the juniors were not aware of it, but the 7 purple myrtle realm cultivators were aware of it. The combined pressure of the 7 of them was completely useless against Lin Ray. The indifference on Lin Ray's face caused the hearts of the 7 people to calm down. This sort of calm in the face of danger was enough to crush everyone present. Feeling the pressure of the 7 people, Lin Ray's eyes flashed with disdain. He said in an indifferent tone, "The 7 of you, if I'm not wrong, this is the secluded valley. So, please give me some face and leave. I won't make things difficult for you. If not." A cold light flashed in his eyes. Oh. Within one of the rooms, the white-haired elder stared at Linley, and a hint of a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were filled with amusement. "Young friend, I wonder, if we don't leave, what will you do to us?" "Yes, little guy. It's been 1,000 years. It's been a long time since someone dared to speak to me like this. You are very courageous. Yo, old ghost Jian, from your words, you can't have taken a fancy to this ant, right?" In the distance, in a room, a young girl in a red dress spoke, her face full of mockery. "I say, can you guys stop fighting among yourselves? Don't forget what we're here for. Don't tell me you're wasting everyone's time for such an unpresentable thing." The 7 crepe myrtle realm cultivators were all talking one after another, completely ignoring Linley. They didn't even try to avoid the conversation between the 7 of them. However, they did not know that the person in front of them was the person they had been looking for. He was right in front of them. After glancing at the room of the 7 people, Lin Ray waved his hand. A set of table and chairs appeared. Lin Ray sat on it with an indifferent expression. The 7 people were not fools. They saw that they were quarreling and he was watching the scene as if he was watching a show. How could they not be angry? In their hearts, Lin Ray was a complete ant. Therefore, they did not care if he heard them or not. In their opinion, this person must die today because the matter of the secluded valley could not be spread to the various states of the netherworld. Brat. The young girl in red walked out of the room and strolled in front of Lin Ray. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. Her hands were clenched and her face was extremely gloomy. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not knowing what's good for you. So, die. Swoosh. The young girl in red turned into a red stream and disappeared on the spot. She rushed towards Lin Ray. As the saying goes, one is as quiet as a virgin and as fast as a fleeing rabbit. The red stream was as fast as lightning. It flashed past and rushed towards Lin Ray's heart. An ant-like existence dares to be presumptuous in front of Brother Lei. Do you really think I'm useless? Just when the young girl in red was about to kill Lin Ray, a dignified and diligent voice sounded. "Oh, you're finally back." Others did not know, but Lin Ray was very familiar with this voice. Only Lin Ray could recognize this voice. The person who came was none other than the red flame tiger. After separating from Lao Bai, he released his divine sense and locked onto Lin Ray. So, bang! The red flame tiger's figure flashed and came to Lin Ray's face. A terrifying pressure swept over. Then, it turned around and crushed Lin Ray with a terrifying pressure. Boom! What? Bang! A muffled sound was heard. A moment ago, she was enjoying the limelight, but the next moment, at this moment, the young girl in red was suppressed by the pressure and momentum of the red flame tiger. She was lying on the ground and looked very miserable. However, the young girl in red could not bear this scene. This situation was beyond her expectation. Not only her, but even the other 6 could not bear it. It could suppress cultivators who were not weaker than them with just the pressure of the aura. What kind of strength was this? Brother Lei, what should we do? Looking at the red flame tiger, he glanced at the surrounding people and finally looked at the young girl in red. He curled his lips and said, "Are you stupid? Teach them a lesson. Otherwise, they will really think that they are invincible after reaching the crepe myrtle realm." As soon as he said this, the red flame tiger grinned. A bloodthirsty look flashed in his eyes. He raised his hand and attacked the young girl in red. No, don't, Chapter 1354. Boom! Poochie! A cracking sound was heard. Looking ahead, a pit that was several zhang deep appeared. In the deep pit, the red-clothed girl was no longer there. There was only a lump of rotten flesh, a bloody scene that made one's stomach churn. Who else? After dealing with this one, the scarlet flaming tiger raised his head and glanced at the remaining 6 purple myrtle cultivators. The scene was very quiet. There were only 6 purple myrtle cultivators left. None of them dared to raise their heads. Even their clothes were corroded by cold sweat at this moment. They knew that the purple myrtle cultivators were the top existences in the Lu province and even the other provinces. Every purple myrtle cultivator was an overlord of a region. Even the lord of a city was no match for them. However, now, they were no match for a single move from the person in front of them. This made the 6 of them feel that their cultivation was fake. It was as if they had never truly reached the real peak. Of course, it was only what they thought was the peak. Oh. Are you all not talking? Looking at the silence of the surrounding people, Lin Ray smiled. However, this smile was so cold and eerie in the eyes of the others. The atmosphere became more and more silent. The surrounding temperature began to drop slowly until it reached the freezing point. Big brother. A wild voice suddenly sounded from afar, and the originally heavy atmosphere was instantly broken by this call of Big brother. Big brother? Glancing at the scarlet flaming tiger beside him, Lin Ray laughed softly. He really couldn't think of anyone who could be so presumptuous here without the scarlet flaming tiger making a move. Anyway, he didn't know this voice. So, he called out. Damn, this idiot. Looking at Lin Ray's eerie and inquiring gaze, the scarlet flaming tiger scratched his head awkwardly and said with a silly smile, it's the little brother I just subdued. Heh, this brat. Looking at the scarlet flaming tiger's appearance, Lin Ray smiled bitterly. It hadn't been long since he came, and this little brother of his was already subdued. Turning around, Linley stared at the charging middle-aged man. A sharp light flashed through Linley's eyes. Suddenly, Linley was able to see through Senior White's background. White ape. That's not bad. However, it's just these people. The white ape's cultivation was only at the early stage of Star Life Realm. In Lin Ray's opinion, it was a little weak. After all, there were 6 purple Star Realm cultivators behind him. Senior White's speed was still very fast. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the Crimson Flame Tiger. He ignored the others and looked at the Crimson Flame Tiger and complained, I say, Big brother, I'm already your little brother. Can't you take care of my feelings? So fast, how can I keep up? This scene made Lin Ray want to cry and laugh. What the F***ck is this? Are you trying to make me laugh? However, Old Bai didn't notice that the Scarlet Flame Tiger's expression became worse and worse as he spoke. However, he was completely unaware that his little mouth wouldn't stop smacking. Also, big brother, look at my calves. They're almost thin. Saying that, he pointed at his own 2 legs with a pitiful expression. However, in the distance, Fang Xin, who was following behind, heard her husband's words. Suddenly, her face darkened. As soon as she came in, she had the urge to leave. She didn't even dare to look at her husband. It was as if she was afraid that others would know that this man was her husband. Big brother? Why aren't you talking? Seeing that the Scarlet Flame Tiger didn't speak, Senior White raised his head and asked with a puzzled expression. However, Lin Ray, who was at the side, couldn't hold it in anymore. He was now sure that this guy was invited by Little Tiger to make fun of him. Father. Little bastard, shut up. We don't know each other. Hearing her son's voice, Fang Xin quickly spoke. She wanted to stop him, but unfortunately, son, wife, you're here. Hearing his son's voice, Senior White turned around and looked at his wife and son. His face was full of smiles as he waved his hand at them. PFFF, wahahaha. Laughing, Lin Ray finally laughed. He couldn't hold it in anymore. This guy is too interesting. As he laughed, he looked at Little Tiger. Little Tiger, you really put in a lot of effort. Where did you find such a clown? Tell me, I'll also go and make 2 of them. This way, I'll have a year's worth of laughs. When these words came out, the Scarlet Flame Tiger's face became even more unsightly. He raised his head and looked at Senior White, whose back was facing him. Then, he raised his hand and slapped Senior White. Bang! With a sound, Senior White's body flew out uncontrollably. Of course, this slap wasn't ruthless and didn't have the slightest bit of demonic chi. So, you little brat, you've completely disgraced me. Senior White turned his head and angrily ignored everyone. However, the 6 Crepe Myrtle Realm cultivators and their disciples wanted to laugh but didn't dare to. They had seen this person's cultivation before. They didn't want to end up like that Crepe Myrtle Realm cultivator. Alas. Looking at the Scarlet Flame Tiger's appearance, Lin Ray also knew when to stop, but he couldn't stop smiling. Okay, let him come over. I think this guy's character is like this. So, it's not a bad thing to have him by your side, right? The Scarlet Flame Tiger turned his head and looked at Lin Ray with a shocked expression. Brother Lei, I didn't hear wrongly just now, right? You want this little rookie to follow by your side? Yes, why? Is there something wrong? But no, it's just that. Senior White turned his head and looked into the distance. At this moment, Senior White had already climbed up from the ground. Brother Lei, this guy has a family to feed. Are you sure it's not troublesome? In order to prevent himself from hearing wrongly, the Scarlet Flame Tiger asked again. I see. Looking at Senior White and his family, Lin Ray pondered for a while and then nodded seriously. Let's stay here. He looks quite interesting. It's not a bad thing to have him by our side. Finally, after getting Lin Ray's confirmation, the Scarlet Flame Tiger's face lit up. He hurriedly waved at Senior White and his family and said, Senior White, your family quickly come over. Brother Lei. Just now, they were inexplicably sent flying, and now, they were inexplicably summoned. This made Senior White a little confused, but his wife was a smart person. Seeing her husband's confused face, she reached out and pulled him by the ear and walked towards Lin Ray. However, Senior White didn't have a good time. Along the way, he was like a pig being slaughtered. That sound, that roar, that hoarse voice made Lin Ray's expression tremble. He subconsciously touched his ear. Senior White, this is my master. After Senior White and his family arrived, the Scarlet Flame Tiger pointed at Lin Ray and started to introduce him. Just now, my master said that your family will follow us in the future. In the future, you don't have to live in this mountain range anymore. What? Leave? He looked at the Scarlet Flame Tiger in a daze. Yes, that's right. What's wrong? No, I won't leave. After getting a definite answer, Senior White quickly shook his head and rejected Lin Ray's invitation. Chapter 1355. What? You don't agree? The Red Flame Tiger was stunned, Lin Ray was stunned, and the 6 crate myrtle cultivators were stunned. Everyone present thought they were hallucinating. Yes, I don't agree. Senior White was a simple person as well. When he saw everyone staring blankly, he thought they hadn't heard him clearly, and then he said solemnly once more, I've lived here for half my life. Moreover, I don't want to live a life of fighting and killing. I just want to lead my son and be my own king in this world. As he spoke, he looked at his son, and a touch of tenderness flashed in his eyes. However, he didn't notice that Fang Xian's face had become very gloomy. As a mother, she didn't want her son to live in a place of his own accord when he grew up. Lao Bai. What's wrong? When he looked up and saw his wife's gloomy expression, Lao Bai trembled and subconsciously covered his ears with his hands, as if he knew what was going to happen next. Are you stupid? With such a good opportunity, why do you want to be the king of this mountain valley? You want it, but I don't want it. As he spoke, he picked up the little ape in his arms and continued, Don't tell me you want your son to be like us in the future, ignorant and inexperienced. Anyway, I don't care. If you don't agree, then, let's not live together anymore. I'll take my son back to my mother's home. Lin Ray, the Red Flame Tiger, everyone, when this scene appeared, everyone present was speechless. This was AF** King's serious scene, but now it became a family drama. What was going on? However, Lin Ray didn't want to see this scene. After all, Lao Bai was so interesting, and he still wanted to keep him by his side. Old, don't call me that. Before Lao Bai could speak, Fang Xian interrupted him. Seeing his wife's serious look, Lao Bai fell into silence. He lowered his head and looked at the little white ape licking its hands in his arms. Finally, he made a decision in his heart. He turned around and looked at the Red Flame Tiger. Big brother, I agree to your request. Hey, look at you. Why do you have to waste time? You should have agreed before. Seriously. Seeing Lao Bai agree, the Red Flame Tiger's face revealed a smile. Lin Ray laughed. He understood that the Scarlet Flame Tiger really wanted Lao Bai to stay. Because this way, he would have some fun. Wife, are you satisfied now? Don't tell me you're going back to your parents' home and abandoning me. As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned once again. In the next moment, Lin Ray couldn't help but laugh. The Scarlet Flame Tiger was even more so. However, when the Scarlet Flame Tiger saw that Fangxin was suspecting Xiao Chen's child, it felt inexplicably envious. Now that the matter was settled, he turned to look at the remaining group of people and asked coldly, Where is the Grand Elder of the Secluded Valley? Lin Ray's change was too fast for the 6 of them to react. Just a moment ago, he had a happy face, but now, in the blink of an eye, he was so cold. At this moment, one of the old men came back to his senses. The instant his gaze met Lin Ray's, his heart trembled, and he quickly lowered his head. Senior, this valley's Grand Supreme is in the depths of the valley. At this moment, he should already be activating the formation of the Dragon Spring Mystery Realm. Yes. Senior, the Grand Elder of the Secluded Valley is in the depths of the Secluded Valley. Yes. For a moment, when one of them spoke, the remaining people came back to their senses and quickly responded, as if they were afraid that they would be unlucky if they responded too late. Xiao Hu, go and take a look. I'll settle this. After getting the answer he wanted, Lin Rei instructed Xiao Hu. Okay, got it. Xiao Hu didn't say anything else. He turned around and disappeared in a flash. The scene became silent again. This made everyone feel that the atmosphere was very oppressive, so oppressive that they couldn't even breathe. Lei. Brother Lei, can I call you that? Lao Bai asked weakly. Yes. Lin Rei nodded. After getting permission, Lao Bai scratched his head and said naively, Brother Lei, my boss has left. Then, what should I do? As soon as he said that, Lin Rei was stunned. He came back to his senses and glanced at the young and beautiful women around him. The corners of his mouth curled up, and a bloodthirsty look flashed across his face. Do you see those people? He pointed at the group of young and beautiful women. Go, kill them. Leave no one alive. This is what you have to do next. No, you can't. Senior, you can't. The disciples of my Burning Sky sect are all. In the distance, the Crepe Myrtle Realm old man was shocked. This time, he brought all the elite disciples of his sect. If they all died here, the Burning Sky sect would suffer a great loss. This was something that the Burning Sky sect couldn't afford. Senior, my Shuayan sect is also. Senior, my Broadsword sect is also. For a moment, the 6 Crepe Myrtle Realm cultivators took turns to speak. They were terrified. Similarly, they didn't want to see their own disciples sacrificed innocently. Not only them, but even Lao Bai was shocked by Lin Rei's decision. Kill them all. Although he was a demonic beast, he usually only killed some other demonic beasts or ate spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits. Unless he had no other choice, he would only attack humans. But now, what, you can't do it? Seeing Lao Bai's embarrassed expression, Lin Rei's eyes focused on the 6 Crepe Myrtle Realm cultivators. Since that's the case, I'll give you a demonstration. Remember, you will no longer live here in the future. In the outside world, there is mutual deception, killing and robbing. They might even kill you because you're a demonic beast. All of these are possible. The weak are prey to the strong. I think I don't need to say it. You should understand. As he spoke, he looked at the first person who spoke. Killing intent flashed in his eyes. Die. Pucci. His words were the law. At this moment, Lin Rei really did cook. As soon as the word die came out, the old man instantly exploded. Even his original flesh and blood instantly turned into ashes and disappeared. This, impossible. What kind of power is this? At this moment, everyone was shocked by Lin Rei again. Lin Rei's means were too shocking. Who's the next one? His gaze swept around and finally fell on the last woman. Remember, be a good person in your next life. Don't look down on others because there are some people you can't afford to offend. Senior, no. I have treasures. The woman was shocked. She had seen Lin Rei's means. She was afraid of death. She didn't want to die. Heh. Looking at the woman, Lin Rei's eyes were full of mockery. Then, he opened his red lips. Die. As soon as he said this, the surrounding nether chi suddenly began to madly rush towards the cocoon in the woman's body. No, the woman felt the change in her body. Her fear grew stronger. Just as she was about to shout hoarsely and resist, bang! A muffled sound rang out. Suddenly, just like the previous one, her body exploded and turned into nothingness. Chapter 1356. Did you see it clearly? Without turning around, Lin Rei's emotionless fear was transmitted into Lao Bai's mind. Suddenly, Lao Bai's hair stood on end. As a demonic beast, he had seen ferocious beasts, but it was the first time he had seen someone like Lin Rei, who could kill as he moved. Brother Lei is asking you a question. At the side, Fengxian hurriedly stretched out her hand to push Senior White when she noticed her husband's absent-minded expression. In her opinion, this was an opportunity to allow her husband to do it. Oh. Lao Bai came back to his senses and nodded subconsciously. I understand. So, go ahead. Lin Li nodded. Without further ado, he raised his hand and the nether chi within 100 miles began to gather. In the air above the remaining crepe myrtle cultivators, a gigantic palm slowly took shape. Do you really have to do this? How do you know? Our sect is one of the best. That's right, Senior. I think it's better to spare people whenever possible. Don't worry, we will compensate you accordingly. We will not let you suffer any losses. What do you think? That's right, Senior. If you kill us, you will only bring endless enemies to your sect. Instead of that, you might as well. Hearing their tongue-tied voices, Lin Li frowned and let out a long sigh. However, the hand seals in his hand moved faster. Soon after, the surrounding people could not see clearly. They only knew that the speed of the gathering in the air was getting faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, the embryonic form had appeared. They were completely anxious. They understood that this meant that he was going to kill them all. But, how could they want to die? Everyone, it seems that this person does not intend to let us go. Let's all escape. Once we get out, inform the Alliance and spread the news. Okay. Everyone agreed. Then, they stood up and planned to go their separate ways and escape. But Lin Ray would really give them this chance. TSK. Looking at them, Lin Ray's eyes flashed with pity. I really don't know how your brains work. Do you think that I will give you a chance to escape? As he spoke, a looming force appeared and instantly shrouded the entire valley. What's going on? I can't move. When one of the old men intended to flee, he suddenly realized that his dantian had been sealed by an unknown force, and he couldn't move at all. I also can't, me too. What's going on? The few of them were shocked. If that was the case, not only would their previous plan fail, what awaited them was only death. At the other side, Senior White recovered from his shock, and at the instant he responded to Lin Ray, he shot out swiftly and charged towards the group of young cultivators that hadn't even grown out their hair. Senior White's cultivation wasn't bad, but the cultivation of that group of little cultivators was clearly inferior. Under the suppression of Senior White's cultivation, they were utterly powerless to resist. Ah, demon, master, it's just us. No. Don't, I don't want to die, I surrender, I beg you. Don't kill me, please, I beg you. No, you can't, all of them used to be disciples of aristocratic families or sects, but now, when their lives were threatened, they were no longer the same. At this moment, they were all pitiful worms, ants, fish on the chopping block. When they heard the cries for help from the disciples, their faces were filled with anxiety. They wanted to go and rescue them, but they were like clay bodhisattvas crossing a river now, and they couldn't even protect themselves, so how could they have the time to rescue people? Even if they could break free from this binding force, they would only flee from this place. As for the disciples, without this batch, they could recruit another batch, and it was only a matter of time. Not bad. Looking at Senior White killing in and out, the corners of Lin Ray's mouth rose, and a bloodthirsty expression appeared on his face. Lin Ray's impression of Senior White had increased greatly. Just a moment ago, Senior White had a silly appearance, and even a little henpecked, but now, the situation had completely changed, and he didn't show any mercy when killing people. Seeing that Senior White was fine, Lin Ray no longer paid attention to him. A giant palm formed in the air, and a smile appeared on his face. He looked at the remaining people and said, "In your next life, be a good person." Scorch. Swoosh! The giant palm suddenly slammed down, and suddenly, a terrifying pressure emerged from the giant palm. Boom! A terrifying wave of air flashed, and except for Lin Ray and the few people who were targeted by the giant palm, everyone else was sent flying by the wave of air. Senior, protect my wife and children. Senior White's voice entered Lin Ray's ears. Suddenly, Lin Ray flashed in front of Fangxin, and the saint's spiritual qi formed a protective barrier, enveloping the two of them. No, don't. With a bang, a loud sound rang out, and the place where the few Crepe Myrtle Realm cultivators originally stood was filled with dust, and the ground trembled. With the giant palm as the center, the surrounding ground began to flash with cracks, and then more and more cracks appeared, as if the world couldn't bear it and was about to collapse. Brother Lei, what should we do? Looking at the cracks surging towards them, Fangxin was slightly worried. Her original intention was to leave, but seeing that Lin Ray didn't have the intention to leave, she could only ask in the end. Waving his hand, a calm and indifferent voice entered Fangxin's ears. It's okay, I'm here, Paul and the others are safe. As soon as these words came out, Fangxin inexplicably calmed down. She had seen Lin Ray's strength, so, the dust slowly calmed down, and the scene in the distance slowly emerged. In the end, Fangxin finally saw it clearly, and suddenly, her expression changed dramatically. Looking into the distance with a trembling voice, she swore that this was the most shocking moment in her life, and also the most unforgettable moment. Dead. He was indifferent, as if he was talking about something insignificant, and it had nothing to do with him. This is my promise to the sect master of the secluded valley. He asked me to help him, so I helped him to solve it. After saying that, he stepped outside, and as for Fangxin, naturally, she followed him. Outside, Wang Yu, who was waiting for a while, walked back and forth anxiously. Finally, at the entrance, he saw Lin Ray's figure. Senior. How is it? Seeing Lin Ray, Wang Yu hurriedly stepped forward and asked directly without waiting for Lin Ray to speak. Looking at Wang Yu and the others, he frowned slightly and said indifferently, dead. As for those with lower cultivation, Old Bai is killing them now, and it shouldn't be long before your secluded valley returns to your hands again. Oh, right, your sect's Supreme Elder is now opening the Dragon Spring secret realm in the deepest part of the secluded valley. Everything is in progress, don't worry. Wang Yu, Lu Ding, everyone, he was dead. A single goodbye, but those words caused everyone's bodies to explode with cold. A cold wind blew past their heads, and everyone subconsciously took a step back, maintaining some distance from Linley. It was too terrifying. Although he already knew that Lin Ray was strong, but it had only been a short time, and he also knew that many Crepe Myrtle cultivators had come this time. How could they accept the fact that he had died so easily? Moreover, he had offended so many sects in a row, and if they came looking for him in the future, what would he do? Thinking of the various consequences, Wang Yu cried. What the hell was this? There was a price to pay for hiring Lin Ray. Now, not only did he have to pay financially, but he also had to pay mentally and spiritually. This was a loss, a complete loss. Moreover, when Lin Ray left in the future, his secluded valley would be in danger of being destroyed. Thinking of this, his heart ached, and he wished he could take a sword and kill himself right now. Now, he felt that, perhaps he was too tired. Of course, he couldn't express these thoughts. Facing Lin Ray, Wang Yu smiled and nodded. Say. Senior, you've worked hard. Lin Ray sneered in his heart at Wang Yu's current appearance. There was naturally a price to pay for asking him to take action. Alright, let's end this here. The Dragon Spring secret realm is probably going to open soon. At that time, it's up to you how to enter. I'm going to bring them in. Pointing at the two at the side, he continued, remember, when you're inside, you go your own way. I don't have time to be your nanny, understand? After saying that, he turned around and waved to Fang Xian. Let's go, it's time to enter. Saying that, The three of them disappeared at the entrance and walked towards the secluded valley again. In the depths of the secluded valley, the red flame tiger moved quickly and released his divine sense to search for the Grand Supreme of the secluded valley. His figure flashed quickly, and soon, he appeared behind the Grand Supreme of the secluded valley. The Grand Supreme of the secluded valley was originally busy, but he seemed to have heard a voice behind him. His body paused, and the voice entered the red flame tiger's ears. "Didn't I tell you that if you want to enter the Dragon Spring's secret realm, you have to wait for a while? Wait for me to set it up before the entrance can be opened. This is the rule of my secluded valley, how could you?" Turning around, just as he was about to get angry, the red flame tiger's figure fell into the Grand Supreme's eyes. Suddenly, his voice stopped abruptly, and he was stunned. "You, are you those old farts or?" The Grand Supreme was not sure if those people were guarding outside. Logically speaking, no one should be able to enter. Looking at the old man, the red flame tiger smiled and waved his hand. "Relax, I'm not someone that can be controlled by that group of nobodies." Saying that, he walked to the front of the old man and reached out to stroke his beard. He continued, "How is it? When will the Dragon Spring's secret realm open? Previously, when I heard about the various things inside from Daylily, I almost couldn't help but want to find out." Saying that, he looked at the old man expectantly. Daylily. Originally, he still had doubts about the red flame tiger's identity, but now that he heard about Daylily, his eyes narrowed. He said in a low voice, "What did Daylily, this brat, say? Also, where is he now? This brat is getting more and more disobedient. I told the secrets of the secluded valley to an outsider." Saying that, the old man was furious, as if he could do anything to Daylily in front of him. Seeing the old man like this, the red flame tiger grinned and shrugged, secretly apologizing to Daylily. Sigh. With a sigh, the old man turned around and started fiddling again. However, he didn't have the passion from before. "What's wrong with you?" Walking to the front of the old man, he looked at the old man's depressed expression. "What happened? Don't tell me if the Dragon Spring's secret realm is open or not." Looking up at the red flame tiger, the old man was sweating profusely. A strange look flashed across his eyes. "This guy. Daylily, he's back." Instead of answering the red flame tiger's question, he asked. "Yes, he's back." The red flame tiger didn't hide anything and continued, "Not only him, but Lu Ding from Huanghui City and the little guys from their city are also here." "Lu Ding is here too?" "Yes, he's here." "All right." The old man nodded and looked at the red flame tiger. He asked curiously, "Why do you want to enter the Dragon Spring's secret realm so much? Logically speaking, with your cultivation, the things inside shouldn't be of any help." "You're right." Although he didn't know what cultivation the red flame tiger had, he couldn't see through it. In that case, the other party's cultivation should be very good, so, heh. The red flame tiger laughed. He didn't want to talk too much about cultivation. "The Dragon Spring's secret realm is just like what this king told you before. Daylily told me a lot of secrets inside. This king really wants to see the cities in the secret realm and the dragon race." Moreover, he looked at the old man and said helplessly, "You might not believe me, but it's just too boring here. There are no experts here, and there's nothing fun here. It's not even as fun as the saints' world. At least, there are experts everywhere. Here." He curled his lips to express his dissatisfaction. However, he didn't notice that when the secluded valley's grand elder heard this, he was shocked for a long time. Especially the words sacred world. As a person who had lived for a long time, he naturally heard some rumors. Therefore, he believed the red flame tiger's words. However, when he thought about how Daylily told him everything about the Dragon Spring's secret realm, he felt depressed. Sigh, it seems that my secluded valley has really declined. He sighed and didn't say anything else. The red flame tiger naturally didn't say anything else. He found a clean stone at the side and lay down on it, quietly waiting for Lin Rei's arrival. Outside, Lin Rei returned to the battlefield. Looking at the corpses on the ground and the small river of blood, there was no change in his eyes. At this moment, Lao Bai, who was in the center, saw Lin Rei and the others arrive. He strolled to Lin Rei's side and said, "The relatives you asked for are done." After saying that, he turned and walked to his wife and son. He felt that today was the most tiring day of his life. Lin Li sighed when he saw Senior White in such a state. He was slightly unable to figure out how Senior White had managed to survive until now. This was the first time he saw a demon being a little unwilling to kill a human. Moreover, he could feel that Lao Bai didn't like to kill unless he had no other choice. Sigh. With a sigh, he flipped his hand and a bottle of elixirs appeared. He passed it to Lao Bai and said, "The elixirs in this bottle can help you break through quickly without any side effects. Now that you're following Xiao Hu, your cultivation is too weak." Hearing this, Lao Bai was stunned. After hesitating for a moment, he took the bottle and thanked Lin Rei. "Okay, let's go." Chapter 1357. In the empty underworld region, in the Hongtian Imperial Palace, Li Jiping stood before the throne. Helplessness, confusion, and determination flashed through his eyes. His expression was extremely complicated. Below Li Jiping, Fan Jun, Aunt Meng, and the others were all looking at Li Jiping. There was only excitement in their eyes. That was because, at this moment, the Hongtian Empire had truly become Li Jiping's Hongtian Empire. Their wish and goal had finally been accomplished. How could they not be excited? "Welcome, my lord, to the throne." Just as the palace was completely silent and Li Jiping was hesitating, Fan Jun's voice sounded. He knelt on the ground and saluted Li Jiping. "Welcome, my lord, to the throne." Immediately, Aunt Meng and the others came back to their senses. A strange look flashed through their eyes. They immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Li Jiping like Fan Jun, "Welcome, my lord." In an instant, the entire imperial palace was filled with voices that shook the heavens. It was unprecedented. Even when the previous emperor, Hongji, ascended to the throne, he did not have such an imposing manner. Sigh. A heavy sigh sounded in the palace. Li Jiping turned around and looked at the people kowtowing below him. His eyes were filled with helplessness. Perhaps in the eyes of Fan Jun and the others, this was the best situation. In fact, they had always thought that this was what Li Jiping deserved. However, in his heart, this was not what he had hoped for. He only wanted to be a prince, a useful person who could plead for the people and ensure the safety of the people. Unfortunately, on the throne of the emperor equal to one side by side, one's accomplishments would shock the emperor. This was something that no emperor wished to see. That was because it was a threat to the throne, a threat to them. Now, Hongji's wish was fulfilled. He had successfully forced Li Jiping and the others to rebel. Of course, rather than saying that, it would be better to say that he was following the will of the people. That was because, in the hearts of the people of the Hongtian Empire, Li Jiping was more useful than Hongtian. He was able to ensure the safety of the people of the Hongtian Empire. This was what they wanted to see and hoped for. "Your Majesty, this is what you deserve." Below, Fan Jun understood what Li Jiping was thinking. No one dared to say anything. However, he was different. He knew that he would not be able to stay here for long. As soon as his voice rang out, everyone's eyes focused on him. At the side, Auntie Meng looked at Fan Jun with a strange look in her eyes. During this period of time, she could sense that Fan Jun had changed. He had become someone she did not recognize. Looking at Li Jiping above, Fan Jun said respectfully, "Your Majesty, when Hongji was on the throne, he did not know how to belittle the people. Look at the suffering of Emperor Hong's people. Hongji has already lost his power. Even without you, there would be someone else. Rather than that, why don't you take the throne?" Only you can truly protect the safety of the people of Hongtian. The people of Hongtian also hope that you can do so. That's right, Your Majesty. This is what you deserve. Other than you, who else in Hongtian has this ability? Yes, yes, Your Majesty, take the throne. Your Majesty, please reconsider. Everyone kowtowed again. This time, they didn't get up. Instead, they kept their heads close to the ground. If Li Jiping didn't agree, they wouldn't get up. All of you, looking at the people below, Li Jiping had already made a decision. Fan Jun was right. He had seen what Hong Ji did all these years. However, he didn't preach because of the matters of his ancestors. Sigh. Sighing, the emotions in his eyes disappeared. Now, there was only determination. Turning around, he looked at the throne in front of him. Finally, he sat on it. All right, since that's the case, then I will not decline. The moment he said that, the entire Hongtian shook. The fate energy of Hongtian started to swarm towards Li Jiping. 10,000 meters above Hongtian's royal palace, Ouyangzhen, who was resting with his eyes closed, felt the movement of the fate energy below. Suddenly, his closed eyes opened. A glint flashed across his eyes and a faint smile appeared on his face. Finally, the mission that young master gave me is completed. This. Li Jiping has finally unified Hongtian. Fixing his gaze on the royal palace below, he stood up and patted his clothes. Then, he flew down. Now that Li Jiping had unified Hongtian, there was no need for Fan Jun to stay here. It was time for him to leave. In the royal palace, when Fan Jun and the others heard Li Jiping's acknowledgement of the throne, they heaved a sigh of relief. Thank you, Your Majesty. Long live the Emperor. Everyone, you may rise. Everyone stood up with relaxed smiles on their faces. Now, the only thing left for Hongtian's system was the coronation ceremony. From now on, Hongtian would belong to Li Jiping's family. Phew. Looking at the smiling Li Jiping, Fan Jun let out a long sigh of relief and a smile appeared on his face. It's time for me to leave. Just now, he felt Ouyangzhen's aura. He knew that it was time for him to leave. Looking at the smiling Aunt Meng, his eyes were filled with reluctance. Now that everything had calmed down, he had to leave. Once he left, they would be separated forever. What's wrong? Aunt Meng seemed to have felt the reluctance in Fan Jun's eyes and asked. During this period of time, she always felt that Fan Jun was hiding something from her. However, she didn't know how to tell him. Now that she felt it again, she spoke. She felt that if she didn't speak now, she might not have the chance in the future. She opened her mouth, wanting to tell him what was on her mind. However, thinking that they wouldn't meet again, she didn't say anything. She squeezed out a smile and said, No, nothing. I just feel a little tired. Now that Hongtian's system is here, I have no place to use my skills. As she spoke, she looked into the distance and said, So, it's time to retire and live a peaceful life. Fan Jun seemed to have forgotten where he was and didn't restrain his voice. When the surrounding people heard Fan Jun's words, they were stunned. Their eyes locked onto Fan Jun. They didn't understand why Fan Jun would have such thoughts. Now that the country had just started, it was time for them to use people. Why would he do this? What happened? This isn't you? At this moment, Aunt Meng was sure that this wasn't Fan Jun. This wasn't the Fan Jun she knew. Fan Jun, what's wrong with you? Above, Li Jiping frowned and asked. Ignoring the gazes of the crowd, he turned around and faced the outside. A relaxed smile appeared on his face. At this moment, he had gotten over it. It's time to leave. After saying that, he walked out of the hall. Aunt Meng, remember to live well in the future. Don't force yourself into a dead end. This way, your life might become better. As he spoke, he walked out of the hall. He raised his head and looked at the sky, waiting for Ouyang arrival. Where are you going? Looking at Fan Jun outside, she felt an indescribable pain in her heart. It was as if she was about to lose the most important person to her. Chapter 1358. Fan Jun, should we be on our way? Just as Aunt Meng and the others were looking at Fan Jun and waiting for his answer, an unquestionable voice sounded in their ears. I'm ready. Looking at Ouyang, who was standing in the air, there was no fear in Fan Jun's eyes. There was only relief. It was as if he was about to walk on the path of liberation. You're quite tactful. Looking at Fan Jun, Ouyang's figure flashed and appeared beside him. After leaving this time, I'm afraid you won't be able to return. Are you sure you don't want to bid farewell to the person you care about? Others might not know, but after following Fan Jun for so long, how could he not know that Fan Jun's heart belonged to someone else? Unfortunately, they had feelings for each other. Ouyang also felt that it was a pity. After all, Fan Jun's one-sided dedication was quite admirable. You are? Seeing Ouyang's sudden appearance, Aunt Meng was in a daze. The scene from back then flashed in her mind. Instantly, she remembered Ouyang. You're that expert from back then? Turning his head, his gaze locked onto Aunt Meng. A trace of interest flashed in his eyes as he looked at her. Little girl, I didn't expect you to still remember me. After saying that, he took a step forward and walked toward Aunt Meng. That's right. I am that person from back then. However, after taking a step forward, his figure instantly appeared beside Aunt Meng. This scene caused the surrounding people to exclaim in surprise. Only Li Jiping and the others who had seen it before were not shocked. Do you know what you want in your heart? Although he was very displeased with Fan Jun's previous actions, after interacting with him for so many days and Fan Jun had already consumed the soul-controlling pill, he subconsciously treated Fan Jun as one of his own. Senior, don't say, shut up. Ouyang berated. Looking at Ouyang, a strange look flashed in her eyes. She understood what Ouyang was saying, but, all right. Since you're not going to say it, there's no problem. Taking a step back, he arrived before Fan Jun again and looked at him sympathetically. I didn't expect you to not get the answer you wanted in the end. How is it? You have no regrets now. Let's go. After saying that, he started walking out of the palace. Fan Jun naturally followed him. Fan Jun, you're leaving? The panicked Auntie Meng looked at Fan Jun's departing figure and quickly chased after him. She panicked. Even when Fan Jun left the military camp, she was still like this because she knew that they would have a chance to meet again. But now, she had a feeling that after leaving this time, it would be difficult for them to meet again in this lifetime, so, it's fine. He didn't turn his head back, nor did he stop. After that, the two of them gradually disappeared from the eyes of the crowd. Plop. He left. You really left? Won't come back anymore? She sat on the ground weakly and tears flowed uncontrollably from her eyes. Do I have you in my heart? Looking in the direction that Fan Jun left in, Auntie Meng muttered to herself. She was lost and helpless. In the distance, Li Jiping sighed when he saw Aunt Meng acting like this. How could he not understand Aunt Meng's feelings towards him? However, he did not have such thoughts. Moreover, he could tell that Fan Jun was interested in Aunt Meng. He did not expect that things would end up like this. The capital city was on the peak of the foggy lamp mountain. After leaving the imperial palace, Ouyang brought Fan Jun directly to this place. It's finally done. Next, it's time to deal with your matter. Ouyang looked at Fan Jun and said as he took out a jade pendant from his bosom. Wait. After I ask the sovereign, let's see what your final outcome is. Without waiting for Fan Jun's reply, Ouyang activated the jade pendant and communicated with Lin Rei, who was in the netherworld. You are in the valley of the netherworld. You are on the way to the depths of the valley to meet up with the Scarlet Flame Tiger. Suddenly, a white light flashed from the storage ring and the footsteps stopped. Ouyang. As he thought, he took out the communication jade pendant and activated it. Suddenly, Ouyang voice sounded from the jade pendant. Sovereign Li Jiping has unified the Hongtian Empire. Oh. This news made Lin Rei excited. This was the best news he had heard since he came to the empty nether region. Sovereign Li Jiping has unified the Hongtian Empire. Then, Ouyang looked at Fan Jun and continued, Fan Jun, how should we deal with him? Him? Upon hearing Fan Jun's name, Lin Li fell into deep thought. Logically speaking, he had originally wanted to kill Fan Jun and be done with him. But now that so much time had passed, and considering what Fan Jun had done, his desire to kill him had faded. Forget it. There's no need to kill him. Previously, I couldn't stand his arrogance. Now that it's been such a long time, forget it. When Ouyang heard this, he was stunned for a moment before he understood. He looked at Fan Jun with a smile. He didn't want to make a move against Fan Jun. He knew that the soul domination pill was very precious to him. Now that Fan Jun had eaten the soul domination pill, it was equivalent to the soul domination pill. Moreover, Fan Jun's cultivation talent was still not bad. Now that he was the only one in the empty nether region, it would be nice to have someone to accompany him. Sovereign, since that's the case, why don't you let him follow me? I can teach him some cultivation techniques during this period of time and let him accompany me. Okay. Without hesitation, he agreed. Understood, Sovereign. Sovereign, do you have any other instructions? No. You stay there and wait for me to return. After that, we will leave this place and return to the holy world. Alright, that's all. I still have things to do here. After saying that, he hung up without waiting for Ouyang reply. Looking at the jade pendant in his hand, Ouyang shook his head helplessly and kept the jade pendant in his arms. At the side, Fan Jun waited nervously. He was waiting for the final result. Whether he lived or died, it would be decided in the next few minutes. This guy. Looking at Fan Jun's nervous expression, Ouyang smiled and reached out to touch the barrier. He said to Fan Jun, Sovereign's decision is, what? What is it? Fan Jun took a step forward and whispered into his ear. Sovereign's decision is to not kill you and let you follow me to cultivate. When Ouyang said that, Fan Jun, who was too nervous, relaxed his body and spirit and fell to the ground. No. No need to die. No need to die. Ouyang nodded in confirmation. Of course, not dying doesn't mean you can leave. For the next period of time, you will follow me to cultivate. Before you reach the nascent soul realm, you can't leave this place. Do you understand? Nascent. Nascent soul realm, what is that? Fan Jun was stunned. Ouyang, he let it go. There were no cultivators here, so they didn't know about the realm. Chapter 1359. Netherworld, Secluded Valley. After hanging up the communication with Ouyang, Lin Rei heard a system notification in his mind. Ding. Mission completed. Mission reward, chance of returning to the sacred world +1. Ding. Host, do you want to return to the sacred world? Hearing the system notification, Lin Rei's body paused and he subconsciously wanted to return. After all, the sacred world was his home ground and this was just a small interlude. But, system, how long will it take for the system to upgrade? Thinking of the other mission, Lin Rei hesitated. Ding. The exact time is uncertain. It depends on the speed of the system's energy absorption. If it's fast, it'll take a few months or a year. If it's hard, it'll take 10 to 20 years. F***ck, Lin Rei was dumbfounded. It would take 10 to 20 years for the system to upgrade to the king level. This meant that he had to wait here for another 10 to 20 years. Alright, host, don't you want to explore the Dragon Spring secret realm? Moreover, don't forget that there's still the mission to help Yi Xiang enter the Sword Sect, so, host, there's still a long way to go. There are so many things to do. If you want to return to the sacred world, it'll take at least 10 to 20 years. Lin Rei didn't refute. Since the system had given him a time, the only thing he could do now was to wait. After all, it was necessary for the system to upgrade to the king level. The nether chi here could quickly increase the speed of the system's upgrade. Moreover, there was also Yi Xiang's mission to upgrade by one level. How could he not be excited? Alright, since that's the case, then, no, if I don't return now, will I lose the chance to return to the sacred world? His expression was tense as he waited for the system's response. Now, the chance to return was in front of him. If he could return in the future, it would be fine. If he wasted this chance, then, don't worry, host's worries are purely for show. If host doesn't use it this time, the chance to return will naturally be left for the next time you return, so, host, don't worry, what you're worried about will definitely not happen. After saying this, the system's voice disappeared and returned to silence. As for Lin Rei, his originally tense figure instantly relaxed. That's good, that's good. After the matter was settled, all that was left was to wait for the system to level up and complete Yi Xiang's mission before returning to the sacred world. Just thinking about it made Lin Rei feel even more anxious to return home. He couldn't hold it in any longer. They had been out for such a long time. If the system hadn't notified them that the Xuanzong sect wasn't in danger, they would have been dead. Let's continue. On the road again, Lin Rei and the others soon arrived at the depths of the valley that their divine sense had explored before. Brother Lei, you're finally here. A figure instantly appeared in front of Lin Li. That fawning look on his face caused everyone watching to stare blankly. Looking at the scarlet flame tiger, Lin Rei gently smiled and reached out to stroke the scarlet flame tiger's head. You're already so old, yet you're still like this. Brother Lei, no matter how old I am, I will continue to be like this. Besides, I'm your battle pet. Who can say anything? Who dares to say anything? As it spoke, it swept its gaze over the surrounding people with killing intent. Instantly, the surrounding people subconsciously lowered their heads, not daring to look at the crimson flame tiger in the eye. Even Lao Bai did the same. This was the first time he had seen the crimson flame tiger with such a murderous aura. At this moment, everyone was filled with fear towards the scarlet flame tiger. Under this level of pressure, it was already good that their souls weren't shattered. Of course, Lin Rei was secretly manipulating it. Otherwise, everyone present would have been in danger. That's enough, little tiger. Seeing little tiger's behavior getting worse, Lin Rei hurriedly reached out to stop it. You came early. How are things here? Is the Dragon Spring secret realm suitable to open? As soon as he said this, the scarlet flame tiger came back to its senses and quickly withdrew its killing intent. It looked at the crowd guiltily and then replied to Lin Rei with a serious expression. Brother Lei, the Dragon Spring secret realm will open later, so, it pointed to the old man who was working on the opening. Brother Lei, this is the Grand Elder of the Secluded Valley who is opening the Dragon Spring secret realm this time. Oh. Looking at the person the scarlet flame tiger was pointing at, all the information of the other party instantly appeared before his eyes. Name, Jilkui, gender, male, cultivation, star sage. When he saw the old man's cultivation, Lin Rei was slightly stunned. He glanced at daylily at the side and then continued reading. Identity, Grand Elder of the Secluded Valley. He hid his cultivation very well. Damn, this guy. Looking at the old man's information, Lin Rei was stunned. This guy hid so well that no one had discovered him for such a long time. This guy must be a star sage. He stepped in front of the old man and fixed his eyes on the things in the old man's hands. His gaze became serious. Old man, when will the Dragon Springs secret realm open? 6 hours. After 6 hours, the Dragon Springs secret realm will be fully opened. At that time, no movement is allowed within a radius of a few 100,000 miles. Otherwise, the secret realm will close. If you want to open it again, you will have to wait for a period of time. Hearing the old man's words, Lin Rei did not continue. Since the time was confirmed, there was nothing more to say. He glanced at the place where the Scarlet Flame Tiger was sitting before and then sat down and began to wait. However, in the outside world, in the empty underworld region, Ouyang explained some of the classification of the cultivation world and did things that were very likely to happen in the path of cultivation, including killing people and robbing them of their treasures. Looking at Fan Jun's face that seemed to understand, Ouyang let out a long breath and then returned to normal. He understood that more haste, less speed. Fan Jun had just started cultivating not long ago. In addition, his body did not have any cultivation and only had the divine power of the soul-controlling pill. Other than instinct, he knew nothing else. Let's stop here for today. From today onwards, you will start cultivating in seclusion. Before you reach the nascent soul realm, you are not allowed to go out. Remember, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Otherwise. Looking at Fan Jun, he pointed at the place where Aunt Meng was and continued, she will die. Life or death. It depends on you. Understood. After saying that, he turned and left. Without waiting for Fan Jun to speak, his figure disappeared. Sigh, this person. Looking at Fan Jun leaving, Fan Jun muttered. However, the moment he lowered his head, a storage ring appeared in his eyes. This is, he reached out and grabbed the storage ring in his hand. His spiritual sense instantly connected with the storage ring and his consciousness entered the storage ring. Hiss, this is, he saw clearly that in the storage ring, other than the life storage, the rest were the pieces of dazzling spirit stones. These things were what Fan Jun needed the most now. Immediately, there were elixirs, talismans, and everything else. Chapter 1360. If it was before, Fan Jun did not have much confidence in entering the nascent soul realm. After all, after knowing the cultivation level, he knew that he was facing a huge gap. However, with the cultivation resources in the storage ring, everything was different. I hope I can break through quickly. After saying that, he started to cultivate the cultivation techniques that Ouyang gave him. In the netherworld, in the secluded valley, 6 hours passed very quickly. Lin Rei was still sitting at the side, resting with his eyes closed. As for the remaining people, except for Lao Bai, his wife, and the Red Flame Tiger, the others were all standing. No one dared to sit down. Grand Elder, it's time to start the Dragon Springs secret realm. After waiting for a long time and seeing that it was about time, Worryless stepped forward and said to the Grand Elder. You brat. Looking at Worryless, the old man was furious. Previously, the Red Flame Tiger had told him everything. Little bastard, you've already told others about the things in the secret realm. There's only so much in the secluded valley. Hearing the Grand Elder's reprimand, Worryless helplessly looked at the Red Flame Tiger who had nothing to do. Then, he lowered his head and listened seriously. However, the old man clearly did not want to say much to Worryless. He sighed and said earnestly, Worryless, this time, when the Dragon Springs secret realm opens, you'll be outside. Hearing this, Worryless looked up at the old man. Looking at the old man, he seemed to understand something. Grand Elder, you're not going in, right? Everyone's eyes focused on the two of them. That's right. The old man did not hide anything and nodded. He looked carefree and did not care. It's time to leave. Initially, I wanted to enter, but, at that time, your cultivation was too weak. Now, with you and those old guys in the sect, I believe that no one will dare to cause trouble in the secluded valley for a short period of time. He understood that the red flame tiger had already said that those who came previously had all been killed. Therefore, he knew that it was time to leave. Grand Elder, you should know that once you leave, there will be no turning back. So many sect masters entered back then, but none of them have returned. Are you willing? He wanted to say something but hesitated. His eyes were filled with reluctance. So what if he was reluctant? This was the rules set by the founder. It was not up to him. Alas, forget it. The rules of the valley cannot be broken. Besides, as the Grand Elder of the Deep Valley, I must set an example. As he spoke, he saw that Wang Yu still wanted to say something, so he hurriedly raised his hand to stop him. All right, stop blabbering. Let's open the Dragon Spring Mystery Realm first. As he spoke, he took out something that looked like a token from his bosom and walked to an altar in front of him. There was a concave shape on the altar, which corresponded to the token in the old man's hand. Cultivation base, get ready. The secret realm is about to open. After saying those words, he slammed his palm heavily onto the altar. With a kacha sound, the token was accurately embedded in the concave shape. Rumble. Suddenly, the secluded valley began to tremble. The originally clear sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, and thunder rumbled incessantly. Not simple. Lin Rei said as he felt the changes in the surrounding aura and the strange colors flashing above his head. He got up and walked to the old man's side, standing side by side with him. At this moment, he was serious. He understood that this place was definitely not as simple as he thought. Perhaps, there really was a small world inside. Who knows? Rumble. As time passed, the rumbling sounds became louder and louder. In front of them, the originally empty space suddenly became restless. The next moment, a vortex appeared out of nowhere, as if it had never disappeared. It's appeared. Seeing the vortex appear, the old man's face was filled with excitement, and his eyes were filled with madness. It's been 1,000 years. Finally, my mission is completed. He turned his head and looked at Wang Yu with a serious expression. Remember, the rules of the secluded valley cannot be broken. Find a successor and groom him well. I will wait for you inside. After saying those words, he turned around and ignored the old man. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the vortex. Let's go. Lin Rei's senses were very strong. Just now, he felt that the space tunnel was connected, and he could enter. After saying that, he walked in. The red flaming tiger and the rest naturally followed behind him. Swish. Suddenly, when Lin Rei arrived in front of the vortex and stepped in with one foot, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard from the other side of the vortex. Not good. Retreat. After saying that, he quickly retreated and distanced himself from the entrance of the vortex. When Lin Rei retreated, the others naturally did not dare to delay. How powerful was Lin Rei? Even he had to step on the vortex. Naturally, they did not dare to stay any longer. Brother Lei, why, it's coming. Not understanding what the red flaming tiger said, Lin Rei raised his hand and circulated his cultivation. He looked as if he was ready to attack at any time. Poof. Finally, the sound of something breaking through the air was getting closer. Finally, a bloody light rushed out of the vortex with a shocking murderous aura and rushed towards Lin Rei. Brother Lei, be careful. Feeling the murderous aura, the red flaming tiger squinted and quickly reminded him. Ha! Pretending to be mysterious. He raised his hand. A devouring force flashed from Lin Rei's hand. Suddenly, the bloody light that was flying in front of him collided with Lin Rei's power. The originally violent murderous aura began to retract at this moment. Clang! A sound similar to the sound of a sword rang out. Lin Rei, who was closest to it, felt it. A strange look flashed in his eyes and he immediately grabbed it in his hand. Ding! Discovered a first-grade Dao artifact. Ding! The first-grade Dao artifact is covered with a dense murderous aura. Host, please be careful. This item can easily affect the mind, especially those who have killed the host too much. Oh. Hearing the system notification, Lin Rei frowned. He had heard of Dao artifact before. Dao artifact was above Saint artifact. A first-grade Dao artifact actually appeared here and flew out from the other side of the vortex. Since that was the case, what kind of world was on the other side to have such an item? At this moment, Lin Rei was even more curious. Suppress for me. Feeling the murderous aura in his hand beginning to counterattack, it began to seep into Lin Rei's body. Suddenly, Lin Rei was stunned and hurriedly activated the devouring heaven art. Humph, a mere murderous aura dares to try to devour me. The devouring force increased. Suddenly, the murderous aura under Lin Rei's devouring force began to flow into Lin Rei's spiritual palace. This energy is so pure. His cultivation that had been stagnant for a long time began to improve after absorbing the murderous aura. Although it was not as good as the floating treasure mirror, it was still very impressive. Ding! Weapon, Wenzong, first-grade Dao artifact, can be upgraded with killing. The user must have a natural killing physique or be a Buddhist to suppress the murderous aura. Otherwise, it will be devoured and controlled by Wenzong and become a killing tool. Chapter 1361. Wenzong. Hearing the system mention the name of the weapon in his hand and the power it displayed, the name Wenzong was indeed very suitable for him. Wenzong buried everything. This made Lin Rei want to know the creator of this weapon. To be able to refine such a powerful weapon, it meant that the creator was very confident. Furthermore, his heart was very murderous. Brother Lei, how is it? Seeing Lin Rei standing still and the murderous aura emitted by the weapon being suppressed, the Scarlet Flame Tiger came before Lin Rei and asked. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the two of them. They wanted to see the result. Of course, more importantly, they wanted to see how powerful this weapon was. Being able to fly out of the Dragon Spring's secret realm on its own without a master, this caused everyone to be shocked. Especially the people from the secluded valley. They had been guarding the Dragon Spring for generations and such a thing had never happened before. However, at this moment, not bad. This weapon is very powerful. At the very least, the current me is still unable to use it as I wish. What? Brother Lei, even you. The Scarlet Flame Tiger was shocked. Everyone was shocked. Others might not know, but he was very clear about how powerful Lin Rei was. Now, even he was unable to use it. Didn't that mean that this weapon's grade was very high? Sigh, what's there to be surprised about? If you can't use it, then so be it. This weapon is too evil. It requires a murderous heart. This means that everyone here, including me, after using this weapon for a long time, will eventually become this weapon's slave. In the end, they will be at its beck and call and will no longer have their own consciousness. Hiss, hearing Lin Rei's explanation, everyone present couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They looked at Wenzong in shock. Subconsciously, they thought of the frightening scene earlier and subconsciously took a step back. Snatch? What a joke. In Lin Rei's place, snatching was fine. However, you must have the ability to do so. Even if you managed to snatch it, it would be useless. Other things aside, this Wenzong, if anyone here used it, they would immediately become its slave. Lin Rei took in everyone's actions. He smiled and casually placed Wenzong into his storage ring. Let's go. Let's see what happened in the Dragon Spring for such a weapon to flow out. At this moment, he really wanted to find the answer. A grade 1 Dao artifact was able to appear in this place. This caused him to be extremely shocked. Furthermore, what was going on inside? He did everything he could to escape, but he risked his life to rush out. After saying that, he turned around and took a step forward, disappearing before everyone's eyes. "Brother Lei, wait for me." Seeing that Lin Ray had disappeared, the scarlet flaming tiger became anxious. "Old White, hurry up and follow him. It's very dangerous inside, and we're very close at any moment. Do you understand?" As he spoke, he casually flung out his hand, and a wisp of spiritual chi condensed into a long rope that connected Lao Bai and his family. The other end of the rope was also tied to his body. At this time, the scarlet flame tiger was relieved and stepped into the whirlpool. Lin Ray and the others left. Grand Elder looked at Lu Ding and the others and asked, "You still want them to enter?" Indeed, they could enter the Dragon Spring's secret realm. This was a rule that had been set before. However, after what happened just now, he also felt that something was wrong. He hoped that Lu Ding and the others would not enter. He was afraid that those who entered might not be able to come out. City Lord, we are willing to go together. Isn't it just a secret realm? Furthermore, as the men of Huanghui City, we are here to protect our country. Now that we have encountered something that we don't need, it's impossible for us to shrink back at the last minute. Yes, it's impossible. We are willing to go together. We are willing to follow the City Lord and explore the Dragon Spring's secret realm." At this point, Grand Elder did not have anything to say. Since they themselves did not care, then he had nothing to worry about. "Look after the valley." After saying that to Daylily, he turned around and entered the whirlpool, disappearing from the underworld. "Let's go." As soon as Grand Elder left, Lu Ding took the lead and followed closely behind. Just like this, the originally empty space was now only left with Daylily, standing there in a daze. Actually, he also wanted to go in. He also wanted to see what it was like inside. Especially after the first grade Dao artifact appeared just now, he really wanted to see what was happening inside. Unfortunately, reality did not allow him to do so. In the secret realm, the sky and earth were blood red, and the thick smell of blood permeated the air. To put it nicely, this was a world. To put it bluntly, this was a battlefield. On the ground, corpses were everywhere, and blood flowed like a river. This scene was no different from a battlefield. However, what was surprising was that in the blood, there was a pure spiritual chi of heaven and earth. It was very dense, and even the valley outside could not compare to this place. Whoosh! In this silent world, a whirlpool flashed, and then a figure struggled out of the whirlpool. Huff! What's going on? The smell of blood entered his body through his breathing. Suddenly, the blood chi began to gather in his body. This place is... Looking over, the sky and earth were blood red. That scene was very eye-catching. System, investigate this region. Ding. Okay, investigating. Host, please wait a moment. After saying that, the system fell into silence. Lin Ray did not stay idle, and his consciousness began to spread out in all directions with him as the center. How many people have died to cause this world to become like this? In his consciousness, the entire world was blood red. He meant that the ground was filled with corpses. This made Lin Ray think of the massacre of his family. Scram, get out of here. Suddenly, an explosive shout rang out from Linley's mouth. Immediately, a golden light awoke within Linley's body. The baleful aura which had entered his body, under the effect of the golden light, was instantly purified and disappeared. Humph! After coldly snorting, Lin Ray turned around and looked at the whirlpool behind him. After feeling the terror of this place, he had no choice but to protect the Scarlet Flame Tiger and the others. He had the protection of the devouring heavenly art, so it was nothing. After all, the devouring heavenly art could refine all living things. It was not a problem for the blood chi. However, the Scarlet Flame Tiger and the others were different. They were demonic beasts, and the blood chi in their bodies was already very strong. If they were guided by the blood chi, they would definitely lose control and their bestial nature would be unleashed. At that time, it would be troublesome. Whoosh! Just as he was thinking, the whirlpool moved, and the scarlet flame tiger's figure appeared in front of Lin Rei. Soul-locking formation. Suddenly, the moment the scarlet flame tiger appeared, without waiting for the blood chi in the surroundings to react, Lin Rei used a protective formation to lock it in place. Brother Lei, you. Looking at the formation around him, the scarlet flame tiger was puzzled. Go to the side. If you don't want anything to happen to Old Bai's family, then hurry up and move aside. Chapter 1362. Oh. Although they did not know what was going on, they still cooked and stayed aside obediently. They did not want to make any noise for fear of disturbing Lin Rei. With the help of the flaming tiger's cultivation chain, White and the others appeared not long after the flaming tiger came out. Soul-locking array. Suddenly, 3 soul-locking formations appeared and imprinted themselves on the bodies of Lao Bai and the other 2, especially on the body of the little white ape. Because the ape was still young, Linley was not very relieved in the end, so he set up 2 more formations, both of which were used to isolate the evil blood aura. Okay. Hearing this, the flaming tiger quickly stepped forward, looked at Lin Rei, and asked the question in its heart. Brother Lei, just now, Lin Rei was speechless. Looking at the flaming tiger, Lin Rei's eyes flashed with a touch of helplessness. He really wanted to know how the flaming tiger could survive until now. How could it not understand such a simple principle? He rolled his eyes at Little White, then pointed to the surroundings and explained, the surroundings are full of evil blood chi. When I came in just now, I was almost killed. If I am already like this, what about you? What kind of scene do you think you will be in when the blood chi fills your hearts? Suddenly, everyone understood. They knew the answer very well. There were only 2 final results. 1, they would become killing tools, and 2, they would explode and die. Not necessarily. White and the other 2 repeatedly thanked Lin Rei. They knew that Lin Rei cared about them, and they felt warm in their hearts. Looking at the 4 people, Lin Rei shook his head and waved his hand with a wry smile. He said indifferently, let's go. Let's walk around in front. Brother Lei, aren't we waiting for the Grand Elder of the Deep Valley? Them? Linley pondered deeply for a moment when he heard Senior White, and then he shook his head. There's no need to wait. That old fellow should be fine. As for Lu Ding and the others, they came here to temper themselves. If I were to interfere, then their tempering wouldn't be tempering anymore. After that, he did not give them a chance to talk again and turned to walk away. You bastard. Seeing that Lin Rei had left, the Crimson Flame Tiger came to Senior White's side and lectured earnestly, Senior White, actually, there are some things that you don't have to deliberately mention. Brother Lei already knows. Just like Lu Ding and the others. If they come in, that's their problem. It has nothing to do with us. You have to understand that there are many pitiful people in the world. How many can you save? If that's the case, I might as well take care of myself. As long as I'm fine, everything will be fine. That's right, Old Bai. Let's not care about these things in the future. Feng Xin agreed from the side. Senior White fell silent for a long time when he heard this, and then he nodded and said, all right, I understand. All right, let's go. He jogged a few steps with Senior White and finally caught up to Lin Rei. In this place, following Lin Rei was the wisest choice. Otherwise, there would only be one outcome waiting for them, and that was death. Ding. Scanning complete. Would the host like to check? Lin Rei, who was walking in front, stopped in his tracks and was stunned. Brother Tiger, this. Is Brother Lei regretting it and wants to go back? Senior White looked at Lin Rei and asked. The Crimson Flame Tiger was speechless. In response to Senior White's question, the Crimson Flame Tiger really wanted to pry open his head and see what was inside. Lower your voice. Brother Lei's situation is very normal. You'll know in the future. After saying that, he walked to the side and began to guard Lin Rei. Senior White and the other two followed suit. In the system space, Lin Rei looked up at the sky. Hurry up, don't waste time. Ding. Would the host like to check? Damn it. Hearing that the system was still acting as usual, Lin Rei was helpless. Open, check. Ding. Okay. In the next moment, a screen appeared in front of Lin Rei. A few lines of words fell into Lin Rei's eyes. The bloody battlefield is a place dyed red with blood. This place is full of killing and blood. Because of the long-term baptism of blood, this place is full of blood evil chi and has an illusory effect. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that this place has the greatest influence on those who have killed countless people and have strong killing intent. Lastly, let me remind you that there is something very interesting here. The bloody battlefield? After exiting the system space, he looked around. Previously, he thought that this place was just a projection. Now, after hearing the system's words, it seemed that this was not a good place. A place dyed red with blood, and it asked me to pay attention to the things inside. It seems that this place is not very safe. With that thought, the chaotic dragon spear appeared in his hand. He circulated his cultivation and was ready to fight at any time. Brother Lei, although he did not know what was going on, the Crimson Flame Tiger still circulated his cultivation and clenched his fists, ready to fight. Be careful. This place is not that simple. If you are not careful, you might lose your life. Then, he looked at Lao Bai. Lin Rei said with guilt in his eyes, the three of you, if you are afraid now, I can send you back. We want to open this place. You are just treated well. There is no need for you to take risks with us. Yes, Brother Lei is right. No matter how stupid the Crimson Flame Tiger was, he understood. He looked at Lao Bai and continued, Lao Bai, if you want to leave, make a decision quickly. Looking at Lin Rei and Lao Bai's serious expressions and the smell of blood in the air, he knew that this place might be dangerous. But, was it possible for him to leave now? Thinking about it, he glanced at his wife and said resolutely, No, I will not leave. Lin Rei and the Crimson Flame Tiger looked at each other and were surprised. Obviously, Lao Bai's decision surprised them. Although it's dangerous here, it's still a good place to improve one's cultivation. I've been living too comfortably for a while now, so my cultivation hasn't made much progress. Therefore, I want to break through here and try to catch up to Brother Hu. As the saying goes, it is good to have a dream, but a dream is not realistic. Catch up with the Crimson Flame Tiger? What a joke. At least, it would be impossible for him to do it in 1,000 years. Moreover, even if he reached the Crimson Flame Tiger's current level, it would be a level higher. However, looking at Lao Bai's resolute expression, Lin Rei could not bear to give him a blow. He nodded and said, Okay, then I will work hard. Since Lao Bai had decided not to leave, they should not stay any longer. Okay, little tiger, protect Lao Bai's family later. Remember, do not act rashly. Leave everything to me. I will bring you out of here safely. Don't worry. Chapter 1363. Not long after Lin Rei left, the space vortex connecting the bloody battlefield and the secluded valley twisted. Then, the Grand Supreme of the secluded valley walked out. When the Grand Supreme appeared and saw the bloody space in front of him, he was stunned on the spot. Confusion appeared in his eyes. What's going on? Looking at the scene in front of him, the Grand Supreme was shocked. He had been to the Dragon Spring's secret realm before. Back then, there were still green mountains and clear waters. Although there were dangers, it was completely different now. This was clearly a contrast between the two extremes. One was green mountains and clear waters. The other was a bloody battlefield filled with murderous aura. Not good. Suddenly, under the power of the Taishang's contemplation, a desire to kill rose in his heart. In the meantime, his body uncontrollably picked up a broken long sword from the ground, turned around, and pointed it at the vortex's entrance. What's going on? The Grand Supreme understood that the current situation was not good. If this continued, when Lu Ding and the rest appeared, there would be a bloody massacre, and this bloody battlefield would become even more bloody. The Tao is formless, but it gives birth to heaven and earth. The Great Tao is emotionless, but it moves the sun and the moon. The Great Tao is nameless, but it gives birth to all living things. I do not know its name, but I call it the Tao. The Tao has clear and turbid, movement and stillness. When the sky is clear and the earth is turbid, the sky moves and the earth is still. Men are clear and women are turbid, men move and women are still. Falling to the bottom of the stream, but being born, closing his eyes to rest, the Grand Supreme began to recite the Tranquility Sutra in his heart. The Tranquility Sutra was not a combat technique, but if there was clear, one could get rid of the turbid aura in one's body. This Tranquility Sutra was a supreme treasure for cultivators with inner demons. Inside his body, traces of murderous aura rushed out from his body. Such an obvious state made the Grand Supreme happy. At this moment, the murderous intent in his heart decreased by a lot. This is the Dragon Spring's secret realm? However, just when the Grand Supreme thought that he could control the murderous intent in his heart, Lu Ding's voice entered his ears. Suddenly, his originally closed eyes opened, and a blood-red color flashed. The murderous intent in his heart surged. Even the Tranquility Sutra was useless. Kill, kill, kill. At this moment, the Grand Supreme started to lose his mind. At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill the person in front of him. He raised his hand and pointed the long sword in his hand. Lu Ding, who was in the midst of experiencing the world, sensed Grand Supreme's murderous intent. He frowned and took a step back. A long spear appeared in his hand as he took a defensive stance. Grand Supreme, what are you doing? I'm Lu Ding from Huanghui City. Seeing that the Grand Supreme's expression was getting more and more confused, Lu Ding quickly reminded him. However, just as he was reminding Lu Ding, the surrounding blood qi began to transform him. It was just that. Lu Ding had no idea. Quick. Quick. Get out of here. Quick. Grand Supreme's voice was faintly discernible. Perhaps it was because his voice was too soft that Lu Ding could not hear what Grand Supreme was trying to say. Lu Ding was dumbfounded. If Ruolin and Lei Lei were here, they would probably be amused by the two of them. Die. Swoosh, he moved. At that moment, the Grand Supreme's dazed expression disappeared. It was replaced by ruthlessness and brutality. He even felt that he was no longer a human being. Lu Ding felt that Grand Supreme was more like a ferocious beast that only knew how to kill. Grand Supreme, clang. The moment the weapons clashed, Lu Ding was sent flying. He flew in the air, forming a perfect parabola. In the end, he landed perfectly on the ground. Dong dong dong. He landed on the ground. He did not hold the spear in his hand tightly and it slipped out of his hand. To Lu Ding, being sent flying in one move, he was shocked, angry, and embarrassed. What was going on? He was supposed to bring the city's disciples here to train. What was he doing now? He was being oppressed one-sidedly. Although he did not know Grand Supreme's cultivation level, from the clash just now, there was an obvious difference. It was very obvious. City Lord, what happened to you? A voice filled with worry came from not far away. Hearing this voice, Lu Ding's body trembled. He remembered that he did not come here by himself. Turning around, he did not care about the pain in his body. He shouted towards the entrance, Quick! Quick, leave this place. Quick, go back the way you came. No matter what happens here, don't come in again. Tell Wang Yu. Tell him to seal the Dragon Spring's secret realm. Inside, no. No. The thought of killing someone rose from the bottom of his heart. At this moment, Lu Ding understood a little why Grand Supreme would kill him at all costs. At this moment, he also understood a little what Grand Supreme wanted to say to him just now. The killing intent in his body grew stronger. Just when he was about to lose his mind, he shouted at the group of disciples again, "Hurry and get lost. I can't control myself anymore." As he spoke, he stood up and stepped towards the spear. He reached out his hand and the spear flew back into Lu Ding's hand. His eyes were filled with blood as he looked towards the entrance. At this moment, the 20 people should have understood that this was no longer a place that they could bring down. Quickly leave this place. The city lord has lost his mind. The youth at the front understood what was going on. He quickly reminded the people behind him. Then, he quickly turned around and rushed towards the entrance. Quickly leave, quickly, what is going on? Damn, if we leave, what will the city lord do? For a moment, although there were discussions, their bodies were very honest. At this moment, a group of people was rushing towards the exit. The 20 people were originally at the exit, so, soon, more than 10 people had stepped into the exit vortex. Get up. Suddenly, a murderous voice was heard. A youth who was a distance away from the exit vortex was terrified. Hearing the voice that was very close to him, he did not dare to turn around and wanted to leave. Unfortunately, Poochie. The sound of flesh being crushed was heard. The figure that was rushing forward was instantly frozen in place. He looked down with a ferocious face and saw the tip of the spear coming out of his chest. His eyes were filled with disbelief. When he turned around, he saw a ferocious face and blood-red eyes appear in front of him. Why did you? As soon as he finished speaking, his voice suddenly stopped. His head tilted and he lost all signs of life. Fortunately, with this, the 19 people in front successfully rushed out of the exit vortex. However, they probably did not know that when they came in, their bodies were already bathed in the evil blood chi. Even if they did not lose their minds, as their cultivation increased, the inner demons in their hearts would become more and more serious. In the end, they would be devoured by the inner demons. Chapter 1364. Kakik. Lu Ding pulled out his long spear and raised his head to look at the exit of the whirlpool. A beast-like sound emerged from Lu Ding's mouth. Swish. His figure rushed forward and disappeared from the bloody battlefield, rushing into the exit of the whirlpool. The Grand Supreme, who had not moved, also did not care about the exit of the whirlpool. He turned around and looked in the direction that Lin Rei had left. A bloodthirsty look flashed in his eyes. Kill! Holding the long sword in his hand, he took a step forward and his figure appeared 1,000 meters away. Then, he took another step and his figure disappeared into the distance. However, Lin Rei, who had left, did not know anything that had happened here. Lin Rei had expected that they might be controlled by the bloody aura. However, he did not expect that this group of people would be controlled without any ability to resist. The Grand Supreme of the Deep Valley was especially so. After all, in Lin Rei's opinion, the Deep Valley was guarding the Dragon Spring's secret realm and should know some things about it. However, he did not expect that this place was very different from the previous Dragon Spring's secret realm. In the depths of the bloody battlefield, Lin Rei and his group walked on the bloody ground. Looking at the mountains of corpses and the sky filled with blood, Lao Bai and his family inexplicably had the thought of leaving. This place was too terrifying for the two of them. Especially when they passed by a few corpses just now, those corpses emitted a faint golden light, which made Lao Bai tremble. Although he could not see the cultivation of the person when he was alive from the corpses, he could roughly guess that this person's cultivation must have exceeded the crepe myrtle realm. Subconsciously, Lao Bai activated his full strength and blasted at the corpses. However, in the end, nothing was left, not even a trace was left on the corpses. In Linley's opinion, Senior White's actions were laughable. He had tried to persuade Senior White earlier, but unfortunately, Senior White didn't know how to cherish it. Now, if Senior White wanted to leave, then Linley would absolutely not escort him. As for the worries of Lao Bai's family of 3, in his opinion, it was completely unnecessary. However, the Scarlet Flame Tiger was different. It was not easy for it to find a companion, so it naturally would not let the other party go so easily. With a thought, Lin Fan took out a fist-sized demonic core from his storage ring, which was emitting a shocking amount of spiritual qi. He handed it to Old White and said with a smile, "Here, this can raise your strength by a few levels. With this, you'll have some protection here. Of course, the most important thing is that absorbing the demon cores here and fighting for a long time will not affect your Dao foundation at all. In fact, it will be beneficial." When Xiao Chen heard the Scarlet Flame Tiger's words, he lowered his head and looked at the demonic core in its hand. Suddenly, a horrifying might surged out from the demonic core. This was the pressure that came from the demonic beast, the pressure that came from the bloodline, and the pressure that came from the cultivation base. This, gulp. Looking at the demon core, Senior White swallowed his saliva with great difficulty. His eyes were filled with passion. To be honest, he really needed these things. They were much better than medicinal pills. After all, medicinal pills were 30% poisonous. However, demonic cores were different. Especially for demonic cores of this level, if he could refine them, he would benefit immensely. You gave it to me. What about you?" Pfft, Lin Ray, who was walking in front, suddenly burst out laughing. There was no other reason than Senior White's words. What was Xiao Hu's level? Even if he had tens of thousands of such low-level demonic cores, it would still be useless. More importantly, why would this brat have such trash in his storage ring? Thinking of this, he locked his gaze on the Scarlet Flame Tiger with a questioning look in his eyes. Looking at Lin Ray's question, the Scarlet Flame Tiger smiled awkwardly. He scratched his head and explained, "Brother Lei, I left this behind in the past. However, after my strength increased tremendously, I did not use it. Later on, I completely forgot about this thing. I only found it when I was packing up some time ago." Saying this, he did not care whether Senior White accepted it or not. He directly stuffed the demon core into Senior White's hand and quickly walked 2 steps forward to walk with Lin Ray. Behind them, looking at the demonic core in his hand, Senior White's eyes became more determined. "Don't worry, Brother Tiger. I will become stronger." Saying this, he put the demonic core into his storage ring. Only a fool would directly entrust such a high-level demonic core to him. Of course, there was another result, which was that he was desperate and did not care about his life. Otherwise, who would be so bored as to seek death? Ding! Discovered a heavenly treasure, a 100,000-year-old heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king, 100,000-year-old? Lin Ray suddenly stopped. Mao Xing was puzzled. In response, the few people behind him also stopped. Where is it? Although he did not know what the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king was, if the system called it a heavenly treasure, it must be extraordinary. He had known that the system's products would be of high quality. Therefore, it was necessary to search for it. After all, he was in the secret realm. If he did not search for it properly, he would be wasting this opportunity. Ding! Investigation fee, 1 look at the exchange points, or, middle grade netherworld jade. Lin Ray, hearing the system's notification, Lin Ray inexplicably had the urge to beat someone up. 100,000 middle grade netherworld jade? This is robbery. It was not easy to get some from the old man in the alchemy guild. Now, the system was asking for 100,000 middle grade netherworld jade. This wasn't bargaining. This was sucking Linley's blood. This was 100,000 middle-grade netherworld jade or the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king. Which of the two is more valuable? Ding. The heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king is high. Okay, 100,000 middle-grade netherworld jade. With such a huge difference, how could Lin Ray be presumptuous? Moreover, he also wanted to see what the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king was. This was the curiosity of an alchemy master and Lin Ray's passion for heavenly treasures. Ding. 100,000 middle-grade netherworld jade has been deducted. Investigation begins. Please wait. Lin Ray came back to his senses. After regaining his consciousness, Zhang Xian began walking forward as if nothing had happened. Looking at Lin Ray, who was walking ahead, the flaming tiger stepped forward worriedly and asked Lin Ray, "Brother Lei, what should we do next?" Behind them, White and the others were very eager to know the answer. After all, this place was full of dangers and no one knew what would happen next. However, in response to the flaming tiger's question, Lin Ray glanced at it and said, "I have it. Anyway, I have nothing to do. Just treat it as training." The flaming tiger, White and his family, just like that, the flaming tiger and the others did not speak. On the other hand, Lin Ray waited for the system's response. Ding. Investigation completed. Ding. 10,000 meters ahead, at the bottom of the Blood Sea, the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king is growing. What the hell? In the Blood Sea? Hearing the system's words, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. So I have to enter the Blood Sea to get the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king? Ding. Yes. Chapter 1365. Damn you, system. Are you trying to cheat me? I gave you 100,000 mid-grade netherworld jades, and you gave me a heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king, right? Although he was very unhappy, his body was honest. Although he said no, his body was already walking towards the Blood Sea where the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma king was. It was very easy for Lin Ray to get within 10,000 meters. He released his divine sense and instantly locked onto the sky above the Blood Sea. Is this the place? In his divine sense, the Blood Sea was 10,000 meters wide. It was full of evil spirit and the smell of blood filled the whole bloody battlefield. If he didn't know, he would think that this was the blood left by the people who died on the battlefield. Brother Lei, just follow me. Oh, right. Then, he turned to look at Lao Bai's family of 3. He casually threw the dark fire fan to Lao Bai and said, "Activate it with all your strength. This thing can protect the 3 of you." Then, he looked at the dark fire fan and said, "Xiaohua, protect the 3 of them. Do you understand?" Red Flame Tiger, Lao Bai's family of 3, everyone's eyes were fixed on the dark fire fan. They didn't know who Lin Ray was talking to. However, right at this moment, a childish voice sounded from the middle of the crowd. "I heard it, big brother. Don't worry. With Xiaohua here, no demons or ghosts can take these 3 low-grade demonic beasts away." Lin Ray, the 3 low-grade demonic beasts that Xiaohua mentioned were obviously Lao Bai's family of 3. However, it was true. Even if the Red Flame Tiger's bloodline was low, his strength was incoherent. Even Xiaohua couldn't be presumptuous. Although they hadn't met officially, Lin Ray had told him about the Red Flame Tiger. Xiaohua, the spirit of the dark fire fan, was made by Lin Ray. It was a 2nd-grade martial saint. As for Xiaohua, it was made based on Jin En's appearance. Although he knew it was just his obsession, he was unwilling to give it up. Brother Lei, the child who spoke just now has quite a personality. The corners of his mouth twitched as he looked at Lin Ray. As for Senior White and the others, they stood on the spot with embarrassed expressions, and they didn't know what to say. At this moment, everyone was silent. However, only Xiaohua acted as if nothing had happened. Big brother, hurry up. It's very uncomfortable here. Xiaohua doesn't like it. Big brother, when he saw Lin Rei remain silent, Xiaohua spoke once more. When faced with this, Lin Rei returned to his senses, and he looked at Senior White and the others before he waved his hand and said, Please don't mind him. Xiaohua is like this, he doesn't know how to control his mouth. And you, Xiaohua, what are you saying? Hurry up and apologize. Tell the Empress to protect Lao Bai and the other two. Do you hear me? As if sensing Lin Rei's dissatisfaction, the mysterious fire fan dimmed. Sorry, it was Little Flame's fault just now. It's okay. Don't worry. It's not strange. Senior Bai and the other two waved their hands hastily. Let's go. Without saying anything else, he turned around and led the Red Flame Tiger and the others toward the Blood Sea. They were not very fast. After all, there were 3 demonic beasts with low cultivation levels in the group. Therefore, the original 4 hours had been delayed for a day before they arrived at their destination. This place is? When everyone saw the scene in front of them, they were shocked. Rather than being shocked, it was more appropriate to say that they were terrified, frightened, and even terrified. It was too terrifying. This was the Blood Sea. Moreover, looking into the distance, it seemed to be endless. How could Senior White and the others not be shocked? When had they ever seen such a scene? Even the Red Flame Tiger was shocked. If Lin Rei had not known about it beforehand, he would probably be the same as the Red Flame Tiger and the others. Looking at the 3 people who could not control their expressions, Lin Rei was sweating profusely. You guys, how old are you? Can't you be a little more calm? As he spoke, he rolled his eyes at everyone. He walked to the Blood Sea and locked his eyes on a certain spot in the Blood Sea. System, can you lock the specific location of the Heavenly Silkworm Ganoderma King? In the system space, Lin Rei opened his mouth and asked. Ding, no. What do you mean? Aren't you the system? Aren't you omnipotent? What's wrong? Is this all you can do? Ding, let me clarify that the system is not omnipotent. Moreover, it's already good enough that I can point it out to you. Do you still want the specific location? Moreover, the most important thing is that the blood evil chi here is the most dense. More importantly, those who died here are supreme powerhouses. If the blood of so many powerhouses is mixed together, even the system can't accurately eliminate the location of the Heavenly Silkworm Ganoderma King. Therefore, everything depends on the host. Do your best and believe in yourself. Listening to the system's blabbering, Lin Rei's mouth twitched. Can I? Damn, this is what a human being said. It seems that the system is not a human being. Even if it's not a human being, it can't say this, right? Come on, damn it, this must be more than 10,000 meters, right? Looking at the width of the Blood Sea, Lin Rei found it hard to imagine the scene of bathing in the Blood Sea and searching for treasures of heaven and earth. If this was in the past, he would have jumped in without hesitation. But now, you guys wait here. I'll go down and take a look. Plop. Without waiting for the Red Flame Tiger to speak, Lin Rei released his Saint's spiritual chi to protect himself. Then, without any hesitation, he rushed into the Blood Sea. Brother Tiger, Brother Lei going in like this, is it really okay? Yeah, I can feel that the blood evil chi here is very dense. Hearing the two of them, the Red Flame Tiger fixed his gaze on the Blood Sea. He was very worried. Others might not know, but he clearly remembered that back then, Lin Rei lived in seclusion in order to suppress the blood evil chi. Now, he rushed into the Blood Sea and bathed in the blood evil chi. It's okay. Brother Lei should know what to do. Although that was what they said, they couldn't help but pray in their hearts for Lin Fan to return safely. However, just as the demons were worrying, Lin Li was swimming freely in the sea of blood. He looked as though he was having a great time. Within the sea of blood, Linley's face was filled with shock. On the outside, he could sense that the sea of blood was filled with a bloody aura. However, when he truly entered the sea of blood, he could truly sense that there was a pure law within the sea of blood. System, what kind of law is the law here? The blood law. It's a very special law. Ding. The system recommends that the host can comprehend the blood law. Oh. Hearing the system's words, Lin Ray went silent. He had never heard of the blood law. But since the system said so, it should be right. Chapter 1366. Of course, I'm not telling you to learn this law right now. What do you mean? Lin Ray didn't understand. How many laws do you have in your body now? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Wait until you've cultivated 70% of the laws you've learned before you start learning the law of blood. Lin Ray was helpless. After all this time, he couldn't learn it. In that case, what was the point of saying so much? He was both excited and helpless now. All right, hurry up and find the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma King. With your current cultivation, you can only stay in this blood sea for a day. After a day, the remnant souls in this blood sea will devour you. At that time, not to mention you, even if Hong Jun, a Dao integration realm cultivator, came here, he might not be able to return alive. You can't be serious. Lin Ray was a little scared. Of course, what do you think? After that, the system department spoke again. Lin Ray didn't have a temper. Feeling the law of blood in his body, he was a little tempted. Unfortunately, he suppressed it in the end. He moved and continued down. However, this time, Lin Ray ignored everything around him. His only goal was the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma King. Silence. There was only one day. It wasn't that easy to stand up in the blood sea that was more than 10,000 meters long. Of course, if he used his divine sense, not to mention 10,000 meters, even 1,000,000 miles would be nothing for Lin Ray. Unfortunately, this place, after entering the blood sea, Lin Ray realized that he couldn't use his divine sense in this blood sea. The only thing he could see clearly was the area 5 meters around him. This reminded Lin Ray of the time when he had just started cultivating. The only difference was the difference in cultivation. In the Holy World, in the main hall of the Xuanzong Sect, Lin Yun sat on the sect master's seat and looked at the people below with a trace of helplessness in his eyes. Father, where are you? Where are you? Right now, the Xuanzong Sect is besieged on all sides and is in imminent danger. If you don't come back, it's possible that the Xuanzong Sect will be destroyed in my hands. During this period of time, the Xuanzong Sect was in high spirits, but, as the territory of the Xuanzong Sect grew larger and larger, it was also constantly sending a threatening signal to its enemies. After all, no one wanted a newly risen sect to continue developing in such a state. Sect leader, what should we do now? Below, Hong Lian's face was filled with worry. Thinking of how powerful the enemy was, she felt a little breathless. That's right, Grand Master. Right now, the sect is besieged from all sides. We're surrounded by utmost powerful beings. Even though the sect has a defensive formation, it's not a solution. The sect's disciples need to train, and the sect's resources are running out. If this goes on, I'm afraid the sect. Ming Ming didn't continue. The crowd understood why Ming Ming did not continue speaking. Everyone understood this point very well. However, what could they do? The other party was a late Earth sage. Right now, the only solution was for the sect's perfect Tao fruit saints to break through their shackles and enter the Earth sage realm. Only then would they have the strength to make a move. But, how could that be possible? Lin Yun was on the verge of collapse. During this period of time, the pressure had been increasing. If he could, he would rather be a profligate son who didn't experience the world. But, that was impossible. As Lin Ray's son, he was destined to bear this burden. Looking at everyone below, Lin Yun sighed and said, "If that's the case, cultivation. What can you do? Tell me. The sect is in such a difficult situation right now, and we need your help." Below, everyone looked at each other helplessly. They also wanted to help, but they were powerless because they weren't strong enough. If the sect leader is here, or if Xia Feng is here, we might be able to withstand this tribulation. Lin Yun's gaze locked onto Xian Guang. That's right. Even if father isn't here, there's still Xia Feng. Suddenly, he thought of something and turned into a streak of light, disappearing from the main hall. Everyone was puzzled by Lin Yun's action, but they didn't say anything. They could only wait silently. On the Xuanzong Sect Skycloud Peak, Lin Yun released his spiritual sense and instantly locked onto Lin Ling. I hope you won't disappoint me this time. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was beside Lin Ling. At this moment, Lin Ling was lying in the sea of flowers, bored to death. When she sensed someone coming, she immediately got up. Father? Lin Ling was stunned when she saw that it was her father. How long had it been since her father came? Ling Looking at his daughter, Lin Yun's eyes were filled with guilt. Back then, when he asked her to go to the cemetery, if he could have pleaded for her. Father, what's the matter? Sigh. Lin Yun sighed and said, Ling your master, did she leave you a jade slip or a jade pendant? My master? This term hadn't appeared for a long time. As for her master, it seemed that she hadn't seen her master for a long time. But, back then, when master left, she did leave me a jade pendant, but Lin Yun didn't listen to the rest of the sentence. He quickly said, it's good that she did. Ling, the sect is currently besieged on all sides. Our opponents can't keep up with us. Uncle and aunt don't have the ability to deal with them. Your grandfather isn't here, so the only person we can find is your master. If your master can help, perhaps she can really help the sect tide over this crisis. Lin Ling was stunned when she heard that. She knew that the sect was in trouble, but she didn't expect things to develop to this point. She stretched out her hand and took out a jade pendant. I'll send a message to my master and ask her to come. Then, she circulated her cultivation and poured spiritual energy into the jade pendant. Master, the Xuanzong sect is in trouble. Grandfather isn't here, so only you can help the sect tide over this crisis. In a secret realm somewhere in the holy world, a young woman was sitting cross-legged on a cliff. Suddenly, a white light rushed out from her body. A jade pendant? She lowered her head and looked at the white light in her arms. She frowned. She remembered that she had only given the jade pendant to 2 people. In her knowledge, one of them was a sprinter and wouldn't send her a message. So, that was, a little girl appeared in her mind. Oh, this little girl, why did you suddenly think of me? She smiled and took out the jade pendant. After activating it, the girl's voice sounded. Master, the Xuanzong sect is in trouble. I'm not here, so only you can help the sect tide over this crisis. The Xuanzong sect is in trouble? She frowned and thought for a while. In the end, she shook her head helplessly. It's time to go and take a look. But, this brat and the sect are in trouble. He sure is happy to come. As he spoke, he turned into a streak of light and disappeared into the horizon. Chapter 1367. Whoosh. In the Xuanzong sect, Lin Yun and Lin Ling waited quietly. At this moment, a white light soared into the sky from the communication jade pendant. Quick, see what your master said. From Lin Yun's attitude, it could be seen that the Xuanzong sect was truly in trouble this time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have acted like this. Lin Ling nodded and activated the communication jade pendant. Suddenly, a voice sounded in their ears. Don't worry, I'm on my way back. Remember, before I return, protect that little thing's sect well. No matter who it is, as long as the sect, family, or other forces participated in this siege, I will make them regret their decision for the rest of their lives. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Yun's anxious expression faded a little. However, he was still a little nervous. After all, no one knew where Xie Feng was. Would she be able to rush back before those sects made their move? Or, he wasn't sure if there were other powers behind this attack. He was concerned about the violet bloodline in Linley's body, but he was afraid that the profound sect wasn't the only one who had discovered the existence of the violet bloodline. There was also another group of sects who had made their move. Sigh. He sighed and waved his hand weakly. Linger, the sect is really in danger during this period of time. If there's no need, stay in the sect and cultivate. As you can see, the sect is in a very difficult situation this time. This is the result of not having strength. So, cultivate hard and try to take your life into your own hands. At this point, Lin Rei's figure inexplicably appeared in his mind. Your grandfather pursued this all his life. He didn't want his fate to be controlled by others, and he didn't want to see us bullied, so, cultivate hard and try to become stronger. He patted his daughter's shoulder and said earnestly. Lin Linger raised her head and looked at her father with a trace of determination in her eyes. Father, I understand. I also pursue this. Master told me before. I understand your worries. Don't worry, I will cultivate hard and become stronger. Then, I will protect you. Will you help us? Looking at his daughter, Lin Yun didn't say much and smiled. All right, let's go to father's cultivation room to cultivate. The spiritual energy there has a layering effect, so it will be faster for you to cultivate. Then, he handed the cultivation room token to Lin Ling, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared into the horizon. At this moment, he did not have so much time to waste. Now that the sect was preparing for war, they could be attacked at any time. Father, don't worry. I will definitely become strong enough to protect all of you, strong enough to shock the entire world. As he spoke, he glanced at the token in his hand. His eyes flashed with determination as he turned around and left. If Ruo Lin were here, he would be able to see that Lin Ling, was not heading towards his cultivation room. Instead, she was leaving the main gate of the sect. If he had known that Lin Ling would be like this, he would have used extreme methods to stop her. Unfortunately, he didn't know that Lin Yun had returned to the main hall of the Xuanzong sect. After returning to the sect master's seat, Lin Yun looked at the people below and recounted what had just happened, including the matter of Xie Feng's attack. Everyone, if Xie Feng comes, then our Xuanzong sect should be fine. But what I'm most afraid of is that Xie Feng won't be able to make it in time. At that time, I hope that you can cultivate and do your best to protect the sect. We can't let father's sect be destroyed in our hands. Hearing this, the people below were moved. On the surface, Lin Yun was the sect master, but they still obeyed Lin Rei's orders. And for Lin Rei, they were willing to give up everything, including their lives. Protect the sect and expel the enemies. Now that they had gathered their morale, they just had to wait for the enemies to arrive, as well as Xie Feng. Good. Since that's the case, you may leave. Take your disciples and be ready at all times. When the enemies arrive, we will fight. I want to see what's so great about the sects in the holy world. After saying that, he waved his hand and the people left. In an instant, there were only a few people left in the main hall. And those who were left were the core of the sect, or even, the most loyal people who had no possibility of betrayal. Hong Lian was among them, and so were Bing and Ing. Now that the sect was in trouble, they naturally couldn't hide in the secret realm. Everyone, is there still no news of father? Lin Yun asked as he looked at Hong Lian and the others. He hoped so much that he could find his father. Because then, he could be the carefree person again. Without power, without desire, without life and death, he only had a peaceful heart. the people below were silent. No one spoke, and Ying and Bing didn't say anything either. When the sect was besieged, the workers began to look for Lin Rei. Although the Xuanzong sect's intelligence network hadn't been fully established, they still obtained some information. Sect Master, I only found out that Master went to the depths of the Eastern Sea. As for where he went, I don't know. The Eastern Sea is extremely dangerous. I heard that even Earth Sage cultivators don't return after entering, so everyone lowered their heads even more and their faces flushed red. They felt very helpless about this matter. The strongest person present was only an early-stage Dao fruit saint. Compared to an Earth saint, they were simply worlds apart. Sigh, since that's the case, we can only wait. Then, he looked at Hong Lian and said, tell the disciples to wait at the coast of the Eastern Sea. If they find Sect Master, they are to inform him of the sect's situation. As for you all, a smile flashed across his face as he looked at everyone. Your cultivation is the cornerstone of the sect. You are the sky of the sect. Nothing can happen to you. Before my father left, he left behind a formation. He said that if used properly, it can be attacked by Earth Sage cultivators, so, during this period, I hope that everyone can study it awkwardly. Try to master the formation before that group of people besieges the sect. Then, he raised his hand and a formation plate appeared in front of everyone. With a buzzing sound, a wave of pressure surged out from the formation. SSS, this is a formation. No one present was lower than a true sage. Well, except for Lin Yun. Feeling the power of the formation, a trace of hope ignited in everyone's hearts. If they could master the formation, they might be able to withstand this crisis. Seeing that no one spoke, Lin Yun said, then, everyone, thank you for your hard work. We will not shirk our duty. Then, everyone took the formation plate and left the main hall. Looking at the departing figures, Lin Yun sighed. I hope that this time, we can get through it safely. Don't let the same thing happen again. Chapter 1368. The Nethervoid Realm. The Netherworld Realm. Within the blood sea of the Netherworld Dragon Spring Pocket Realm. Right now, Linley was swimming through the blood sea, all for the sake of trading 100,000 mid-grade netherjade for information on the celestial silkworm Ganoderma King. Half a day had passed since he entered the blood sea, but he still hadn't found any information about the heavenly silkworm Ganoderma King. However, although he didn't find the target, he found many interesting things at the bottom of the blood sea. There were weapons, storage rings, armors, and even formation plates. Moreover, the level of the formation plates here made Lin Rei speechless. He knew that the level of his array formation was far inferior to the array formation found here. There was no comparison at all. This made Lin Rei even more curious about the blood sea. The fact that such a level of formation plate could appear here meant that the people who died here must have been very powerful. However, because these things had been stored in the blood sea for a long time, some of their effects had disappeared. Lin Rei had used up all his knowledge to be able to pull out the level of the formation plates. As for the Holy World and the Xuanzong sect's crisis, he really didn't know. If he knew, he would have used everything he had to go back and kill all those people who didn't know what was good for them. Ding! There is a strange movement 100 meters ahead. 100 meters ahead? Hearing the system's sudden notification, Lin Rei was stunned. Then, he didn't care if there was danger ahead. He jumped up and instantly appeared 100 meters away. He saw a faint golden light in front of him. Although it wasn't very deep, it was indeed an unusual existence in the blood sea. As he thought about this, he took a step forward. Carrying the bloody mud, he arrived at the spot where the golden light had flashed. He stretched out his hand, and just as Linley was about to make contact with the golden light, a powerful suction force appeared. Linley's body was no longer under his control. His vision darkened, and he disappeared into the sea of blood. Damn it, how, after a long time, feeling the suction force disappear and his strength return, Lin Rei's face was full of confusion and vigilance. With the cultivation of the round bowl of Dao fruit, how could he not be shocked when he was powerless to fight back? He looked up and saw that he was in a pitch-black space. Right in front of him, there was an arched door. The arched door seemed to connect heaven and earth. The pressure from it shocked Lin Rei. What kind of demonic beast is this? His gaze fell on the arched door. On one side, demonic beasts were rampaging, forming a scene of demonic beasts. On the other side, it was a sunny day with flowers, birds, and fairies everywhere. The two sides formed a very clear contrast. It felt very strange. Ding! This is a cult beast, a demonic beast unique to the netherworld. Why aren't you saying anything? Seeing that the system had stopped explaining, Linley asked. TSK. To be honest, I really don't have the heart to hurt you. But since you said so, I will tell you. As he spoke, Linley's gaze once more fell upon the cult, and the system's voice rang out in his ears. The cult race is extremely powerful. Their young are born with the power of an immortal exalt. What's more, as they mature, their power will increase at a rapid rate as well. As for fully grown cults, they have appeared in the primordial era. Their power has reached the level of immortality, or even higher. Moreover, the demonic beasts on the stone wall are basically very rare. So, are you sure you want to continue asking? Lin Rei was speechless. Lin Rei didn't want to say anything. What was this? Wasn't he just asking? Why did it make him feel so uncomfortable in the end? Moreover, they were born with the cultivation level of Immortal Prime. Damn it, how could they let others pass? Although the cultivation level of Immortal Prime was nothing in his eyes now, he also walked step by step from the Qi refinement realm to where he was today. He understood the difficulty of cultivation. Why? Are you unhappy? As Lin Rei's system, all his emotions and thoughts were known to the system. As long as the system wanted to know, Lin Rei couldn't do anything about it. Sigh. Looking at the stone wall, Lin Rei sighed. He didn't pay attention to those things. To be able to carve such an existence, its cultivation level must be beyond imagination. System, can you explore this place? Looking at the arched door in front of him, Lin Rei was very curious. There was such an existence under the Blood Sea. Why? What was the purpose of the Blood Sea? At this moment, Lin Rei couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. After all, these were things he couldn't help but think about. Host, I think you should explore on your own. I don't think you will find such a place. Moreover what? I feel that the energy here is very useful to me. Perhaps, after leaving this place, the system can be promoted to King Grade system. When the system said this, Lin Rei was stunned. Then, a smile flashed across his face. Coming here, other than being able to get a chance to leave, the most important thing was the system's promotion. He wanted to see what it would be like after the system was promoted to King Grade. He wanted to see if the little dragon would be awakened because of the system's promotion. Thinking about it, Lin Rei was very motivated. If that's the case, then I'll go in directly. As he spoke, without waiting for the system to speak, Lin Rei's figure was already standing in front of the arched door. He stretched out his hands, one on each side, and began to push the arched door. Hey, I say, can you not be so impatient? I haven't even seen what this thing is. I don't even know if it's dangerous or not. Are you really so impatient? Do you want to die? The system's complaints rang in Lin Rei's ears. However, to this, Lin Rei acted as if he didn't hear it. He didn't back down and continued to work hard. Damn, you rascal. Seeing that Lin Rei had no intention of stopping, the system was helpless. Okay, since you're willing, then play by yourself. After that, the system's voice disappeared. However, at this moment, Lin Rei seemed to be bewitched. He didn't hear the system's voice at all. On the contrary, he kept increasing his strength. Then, he activated his cultivation and began to use all his strength. "Little doll, it's useless for you to do this." Suddenly, a voice rang out. However, the amazing thing was that Lin Ray heard it. Huh? Lin Ray, who was pushing the door with all his strength, paused and looked around. "You don't have to look for me. I just want to say that your side is useless. The new divine demon gate is not something that you can shake with your current cultivation. Stop, or the only result will be death." The voice rang out again. However, this time, Lin Ray heard it clearly. The voice came from the gate filled with flowers and birds. If one looked carefully, one could see that in the sea of flowers, there was a little bird lying on it. Its eyes were shining brightly. It didn't look like a stone carving, but more like a living creature. "Senior, I just want to enter. If you have a way, why don't you tell me? Of course, I can do my best to help you complete any request you have." Chapter 1369. Is that so? The voice fell into deep thought. Lin Ray's heart was beating like a drum. He wasn't sure if the voice was good or bad, but he was sure of one thing. As the saying goes, one doesn't get up early if there are no benefits. If one doesn't ask for anything in return, who would bother with you? Sure enough, just as this thought appeared in his mind, the voice spoke again. "What you said is also possible." "Oh, as expected." Lin Ray sneered in his heart. However, his face was very alert and he nodded repeatedly, "Yes, yes, yes. Senior, please tell me. As long as I can do it, I will do it." "Ha ha ha, good." The voice laughed. Then, the laughter stopped abruptly and he said, "I can help you enter this place, but you have to promise me one thing." "What?" As he spoke, Linley subconsciously took a step back. Although at his level, there weren't many things that could cause him to feel fear, the things in front of him were things he had never seen before. And yet, this person had been able to see through his cultivation level at a glance. How could he not be shocked? "Are you afraid?" No. Lin Ray understood that he had lost his composure and immediately returned to his original position. "Actually, my condition is very simple." He paused for a long time before he spoke again. "After you enter, if you can obtain the inheritance inside and come out alive, then let me go so that I won't be in a hurry to escape from this demon sect. If that's the case, I will be deeply grateful." This time, it was Lin Ray's turn to be stunned. What does this mean? After so long, it's just for this? Lin Ray was a little uncertain and he confirmed, "Senior, you said, this is the condition. Is there nothing else?" How could he not understand Lin Ray's thoughts? "Don't worry, there is nothing else." After receiving confirmation, Lin Ray heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he cupped his hands and replied, "Senior, please don't worry. If I enter and obtain the opportunity that you mentioned, or come out alive, I will definitely help you out of your misery. Of course, all of this is under the premise that this junior has the ability to solve it. Otherwise, even if you kill this junior will not be able to do it." Lin Ray wasn't a fool. Who knew if he could obtain the inheritance inside? If he couldn't, how could he deal with the demon sect? That was why he came up with the plan. Otherwise, he might end up digging a pit for himself. It wouldn't be worth it. However, the other party clearly knew what Lin Ray was thinking, so he didn't hesitate and nodded. "All right, this old man won't force you. After you enter and obtain the inheritance, you can save this old man. If you can't obtain it and you don't have the ability to do so, this old man won't force you. If that's the case, what do you think? Let's do as Senior says." Lin Ray hurriedly agreed. He didn't want this matter to have any more changes. "Old Sparrow, are you sure you want to let him in?" Suddenly, another voice appeared. It was different from the previous voice. This voice belonged to a woman, and it was very pleasant to listen to. Lin Rei locked his gaze on the demon Sect. At this moment, he wasn't sure if there was something sealed inside. "Little girl, why did you come out?" the old sparrow asked. However, the girl didn't want to talk to him. "It's none of your business. I only want to ask you, are you sure you want to let him in? Others might not know, but don't you know how powerful it is inside?" As she spoke, a hint of disdain flashed across her voice. "Even you couldn't enter the second level back then, let alone this weakling. Oh, that's not right. He's even weaker than a weakling. If you let him in like this, isn't it the same as letting him die for nothing? Little girl, can't you stop harping on that matter? I've already told you that this happened because this old man didn't pay attention back then." Tisk, who would believe that? After saying that, the girl's voice rang in Lin Rei's ears. "Kid, if you don't want to die, leave quickly. This isn't a place for you to play. With your cultivation, you can't even enter the first level, let alone the level where the old sparrow died back then. Moreover, you'll lose your life for nothing. Therefore, I advise you to leave quickly or else." Listening to the advice, Lin Rei felt helpless. Although it was advice, the more he listened, the more he felt that the other party was looking down on him. "No, I'm not leaving." Lin Rei shook his head and continued. "First of all, I want to say that I want to enter this place. Secondly, my name is Lin Rei, and I'm not the weakling you're talking about. Of course, in your eyes, I might be weak, but this sovereign has been cultivating for more than 4,000 years. This realm isn't something that you can casually make up." After saying that, a domineering aura rose to the sky, as if he was very awesome. However, this domineering aura was nothing in the eyes of the girl. "Weakling, do you have to go in and die? Don't call me a weakling." The girl didn't think much of it and continued. "Weakling, you might die in there." "Are you sure? Don't call me a weakling. Weakling, you have to understand that with your current cultivation, you might not be able to come out. Have you ever thought about your family or friends? If you die, what will happen to them? I'm not a weakling. Speaking of which, my family and friends naturally include me. Father, I miss you so much. Hubby, I miss you so much. When are you coming home? Our N has grown up." Suddenly, two voices rang out. Lin Rei's body changed, his mind rolled, and he was stunned on the spot. These two voices were very familiar. Since when had these two voices appeared every night? He turned around and saw that Jean Ling and Jean En were looking at him. The love in their eyes made others envious. However, all of this seemed so unreal to Lin Rei. "You. Aren't you dead?" "Yes, isn't Ling dead? When I was in the divine world, I was still repenting in front of Ling Er's grave. Why now, could it be?" As if he thought of something, he turned around. The original demon gate disappeared and was replaced by the scene in Qianshui village. Illusion. At this moment, Lin Rei was sure that the scene in front of him was fake. If it was for other reasons, perhaps Lin Rei could still be superior. However, for Jean En and Jean Ling, he would never mistake them. Turning around, he looked at them tenderly. A teardrop flowed from his eyes. "Ling I'm sorry. If I didn't think so highly of myself, you and En wouldn't have died. If I could be given another chance, I would never go back. Unfortunately, there's no turning back. Perhaps, when I truly reach the peak of Tao, I can reverse time and space for you. Let's go back to when we first met. If that time really comes, I will accompany you until we grow old. Our love will never change." Chapter 1370. After saying that, he raised his hand and waved. Jean Ling and Jean En's figures instantly turned into ashes and disappeared. After that, there were a few more illusions. However, after the first one, the rest were nothing to worry about. He raised his hand and suppressed them. Finally, the scene returned to its original state. When he saw the demon gate again, Lin Ray went straight to the point. Tell me, is it okay now? My time is limited. I don't want to waste my time here. Okay, you can go in. The illusion just now was just a test for Lin Ray. If he couldn't pass it, he could only indulge in the environment. As the saying goes, the land of women is the grave of heroes. However, the old sparrow wasn't worried anymore. At least, he didn't have to worry about the first level. As soon as he said that, on the other side of the divine demon gate, a bright light flashed in the sea of flowers where the sparrow was. Suddenly, a blue vortex appeared. Go in. Remember, do what you can. Got it. Without hesitation, he stepped into the vortex. Sigh, I hope you can get what that person left behind. Then, I can be free. Looking at the direction where Lin Ray was, he sighed. Heh, dreams are good, but the world is cruel. Don't have any illusions. Otherwise, you will be the one who gets hurt. Hey, what can you do if you don't insult me? I can die. The old sparrow was speechless. Behind the divine demon gate, Linley walked out of a pitch-black space, and a blue whirlpool similar to the one he had just seen appeared. Immediately, the Chaos Dragon spear appeared in his hand. He looked around cautiously and was on high alert. System, can you scan the map of this place? Ding. Yes. He was just trying it out. He didn't expect it to work. Then hurry up. Don't waste time. He wouldn't be stupid enough to create a map of this place himself. He had the system, so he wouldn't be stupid if he didn't use it. Ding. Scanning the map of this secret realm requires 5 million mid-grade netherworld jade. Does the host agree to continue? Lin Ray was speechless. Lin Ray doubted his life. 5 million mid-grade netherworld jade? Why don't you go rob a bank? One had to know that 5 million mid-grade netherworld jades was equivalent to a drop of blood essence. Ding. Would the host like to spend 5 million to investigate this area? The system's voice sounded again. Hearing this voice, Lin Ray felt as if his heart was bleeding. However, when he thought of his purpose in coming here, he nodded and said, investigate, investigate. Ding. 5 million mid-grade netherworld jade has been deducted. Checking in progress. Please wait. It's over. Hearing those words, Zhang Xian quickly released his spiritual perception into his storage ring. Then, he saw that one of the 2 mountains of netherworld jade had already reached the bottom. Motherf asterisk Ker, that's 5 million. It's gone just like that. As he thought about it, Lin Ray stretched out his hand to cover his heart. His expression was one of extreme heartache, and it was extremely comical. After a long time, Lin Ray finally returned to his senses and swept his gaze over the surroundings. This place was similar to the outside world. However, the difference was that the nether chi here was extremely dense. Who exactly left this place behind? How dare they treat this place as their own door? Thinking of this door, Lin Ray became even more curious about the owner of this place. He wanted to see what kind of good things the owner of this place could have left behind. Taking a step forward, Zhang Xian walked forward. Although his spiritual perception was somewhat useless in this place, he was still able to detect everything within a radius of 5 meters. The path was rather flat, and there was nothing dangerous. However, there was one thing that was similar to the outside world. There were many corpses over there, and some of them had already turned into white bones. This confirmed what the old sparrow had said earlier. Those who entered this place were all dead. None of them were able to escape. Zhang Xian could tell from the corpses that some of them had walked toward the inside, and some of them had also walked toward the outside. However, they had died on the way before they could leave. Illusory spirit blood fire. The illusory spirit blood fire wrapped around his body. Suddenly, the surroundings appeared clearly in Lin Ray's line of sight. Oh, is this the Xianyuan dark treasure? Looking at the purple leaf and black fruit that were emitting a faint light, Lin Rei couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. The Xianyuan dark treasure was the main ingredient of a 9th-grade elixir recipe. However, it was said that this main ingredient had been extinct for a long time. How could Lin Rei not be shocked when he saw it now? Zhang Xian took a step forward. For such a good thing, he naturally had to take the initiative. After all, he couldn't enter a treasure mountain and return empty-handed. That wasn't Lin Rei's usual style of doing things. When he arrived in front of the Xianyuan dark treasure, a purple jade box suddenly appeared in his hand. He squatted down and stretched out his hand. A wave of Saint's spiritual qi wrapped around his hand. Then, he plucked the black fruit and placed it into the jade box. Puff! 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 A strange sound was heard. The purple leaf that had lost the black fruit instantly turned into ashes. Lin Rei was already used to such a scene. It didn't arouse Lin Rei's curiosity. He stood up and walked away. This time, Lin Rei was very serious. Previously, he had found the Xianyuan dark treasure by accident. Who knew if there were other treasures here? However, Lin Rei thought so and did so. Moreover, he received good returns. Along the way, he obtained a lot of treasures. All kinds of treasures that were already extinct in the outside world had all appeared here at this moment. However, all of them had fallen into Lin Rei's bag. Regarding this, Lin Rei could guarantee that as long as he refined these things into elixirs, the sect and even his own cultivation would reach a new height. Time slowly passed. Lin Rei didn't know how much time had passed. Finally, the system notification that he had been waiting for came. Ding! Exploration complete. Ding! This is the Letian's secret realm, a place of inheritance left behind by a heavenly fusion realm cultivator. The Letian's secret realm is divided into 4 layers. The first layer is the death realm. The second layer is the life realm. The third layer is the mountain of corpses and sea of blood. The fourth layer is the Azura domain. At this moment, the host was in the death realm. Here, the dead spirits wouldn't be obvious. On the contrary, they would become very powerful because of the illusion here. In the end, they would become the protectors of the first layer. What? Lin Rei was dumbfounded. If that was the case, wouldn't all the corpses he saw on the way here become the protectors of this place? If that was the case, then, F***CK. What a scam. He didn't dare to think about it anymore. He locked his gaze and frowned. The primal chaos dragon spear began to accumulate energy. He felt like he was being watched all the time. Ding! Host, the inheritance in the Letian's secret realm is very important. If you can obtain it, you might be able to enter a higher realm. Of course, this has to take into consideration that the host can reach the place of inheritance safely. Hee, it's not funny at all. Chapter 1371. Lin Rei was on high alert now that he understood how dangerous this place was. He had seen the cultivation of the people who had died before, and many of them were much stronger than him. If the system was right, then, Lin Rei shuddered at the thought of this and woke him up. He dug the primal chaos dragon spear even tighter and circulated his cultivation. He was ready to run if he couldn't win. He knew that if he hadn't suffered so much because of his pride, he wouldn't have ended up in such a state. Of course, Lin Rei didn't plan on leaving the danger before him. How could he leave empty-handed after entering a mountain of treasures? That wasn't his style. Moreover, the heavenly treasures from before had already shown Lin Rei the value of this secret realm. Therefore, it was impossible for him to leave now. He continued to move forward. This time, Lin Li was even more alert than before. He slowed down his footsteps, taking one step at a time. However, this made him feel even more certain that there was something watching him from the shadows. In the Xuanzong sect in the Holy World, the atmosphere was heavy. Just a moment ago, they received news that more than a dozen sect masters and grand elders were lying in ambush. Some of the disciples who had left earlier had their soul jades shattered, which meant that they were already dead. In the Xuanzong sect's main hall, the atmosphere was heavy. No one spoke and everyone had a grave expression on their faces. Bang! As the sect master, Lin Yun slapped the armrest of his chair. Fortunately, the sect master's chair was a magic tool. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to keep it. Boom! Bastards, do you really think that I'm useless? This time, Lin Yun was really angry. He originally wanted to wait until they arrived before taking action, but he didn't expect this group of people to be so impatient. They were going to kill him to the last man. This was, below, Hong Lian's face changed when she saw Lin Yun's reaction. She took a step forward and said, "Sect Master, since the enemy is here, I would like to ask for your permission. Sect Leader, we are willing to fight. Please grant us our wish." For a time, apart from Ice and Shadow, everyone else moved. They took a step forward with fearless expressions, which touched Lin Yun's heart. Earlier, there was an instant when he wanted to stir up the emotions of these people. However, when he thought of the number of people and how powerful they were, he suppressed the emotions in his heart. Waving his hand, he said in a low voice, "I know you're frustrated with your cultivation, but with the enemy before you, how many people do you think you can kill? 10? 20? Even if you can kill so many, there are already more than 10 sects outside. Have you ever thought about how many sages they have sent? Moreover, if something happens to all of you, who will guard the sect? If the sect is destroyed, Father's painstaking efforts will go to waste. Do you think Father wants to see all of you die?" Lin Yun's words pierced through everyone's hearts. If something happened to them, the sect would be destroyed. What would Lin Ray think? "Alright, don't just stand there. You might not be able to fight, but your mission is very important. You have to practice the disc array that I gave you. After all, it's the only way to deal with the enemy. Now that the sect is in trouble, we can only rely on you guys." Everyone was stunned when they heard those words. They lowered their heads. Although they were frustrated, they could only endure it. Lin Yun didn't know how to comfort them. "You guys will go to the secret realm to cultivate in a while. You don't have to worry about the rest. Leave it to me. As for you all, you only have a month's time. According to the endurance of the sect's great formation, the sect's great formation will lose its effect in at most a month's time. At that time, if you still can't master the formation, the sect will be in danger." But Hong Lian wanted to say something when she heard Lin Yun's words. But before she could say anything, Lin Yun cut her off. "What's wrong? Do you have any objections to my words?" Lin Yun narrowed his eyes and looked at Hong Lian. Before my father left, he said that you have to obey my orders 100%. So, I don't want to repeat myself." Then, he waved his hand at everyone. "Go and do your own things. You don't have to worry about anything else." Everyone wanted to say something, but when they thought of Lin Yun's last words, they shook their heads helplessly and left. Not long after, Lin Yun sat alone on the sect master's seat in the main hall. He was indescribably dispirited. But his gaze was sharp, like a sword that was about to be unsheathed. "It's time to go out. I wonder how strong they are." 1,000 miles away from the Xuanzong sect, 6 people stood proudly on a mountain peak. The leader was a middle-aged man. He looked at the Xuanzong sect with a cold glint in his eyes. "Xuanzong sect, heh. If it weren't for your sudden rise, we wouldn't have noticed. Since you're so impatient, don't blame me for being ruthless." The Huiyin sect was a second-rate sect in the Yellow region. But even so, it wasn't something the Xuanzong sect could compare to. Of course, it was built on the alliance of more than 10 sections. The leader of the group was the Huiyin sect master, Yang Kuan. He was narrow-minded, but he was good at scheming. He had contributed a lot to the plan to besiege the Xuanzong sect. He was also the main force of more than 10 sections. "Sect master, if the higher-ups find out about such a large-scale mobilization, won't we? At this moment, an old man stepped forward with a worried expression. That's right, Sect Master. Isn't this a little too impatient? I feel that the Xuanzong sect isn't simple. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to conquer so many sects in such a short period of time. They also wouldn't be able to annex the remaining forces. Moreover, the Xuanzong sect is indifferent to such a large-scale operation. Could it be that there are strong cultivators sitting there? Or perhaps, they have a strong background in the Yellow region. If we act rashly like this, to us, after he said that, the remaining people nodded their heads. They agreed very much. They didn't approve of this mobilization in the first place. If it wasn't for the sect master's order and the temptation of the heavenly treasures, they wouldn't have all appeared here. One had to know that the people here were all the top forces of the Fire Cloud sect. If they all died here, or if they lost half of their strength, then the original second-rate sect would lose its original status and be reduced to a third-rate sect. However, Yang Kuan frowned slightly at the words of the old men behind him, but he recovered immediately. I'm certain about this matter. As for the problem you're worried about, I've already told you. The higher-ups already know. As for whether the Xuanzong sect has a strong background or not, it's not something we need to worry about. Besides, there are people in front of us charging. If we find that something is wrong, it's better to withdraw in time. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.